Welcome to the Ray Sports Show. The time is here. The time is here. We have college football. College football starts today. Don't forget what I said last week. 2 weeks away. No, we're not 2 weeks away now. We have some football today. We have your Nebraska Cornhuskers versus the Fighting Alumni of Illinois at 1:20 on Fox today. Yes, that's in Dublin, Ireland. So we got some college football in action. We got it all here for you. We're going to map it all out on the Ray Sports Show, the college pregame show here on the ASAP Network. Oh, by the way, starting tomorrow at 6 o'clock, 5 Central, 6 Eastern, 5 Central is our big anniversary 1-year show here. All your favorite shows from the ASAP Network will be on. And we have some big news, some breaking news. You might want to stay tuned right here on the ASAP Network. Thank you for joining us. Once again, my name is Ray Cruz. I am your host of the Ray Sports Show, and we're going to get some college football here, some action, and we're going to bring it all here. We got Illinois today versus Nebraska. That's at 1:20 on Fox. Hey, if you want to see the Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii, we got them right here. We're going to talk about them right here against UCLA. That game is at 3:30 on ESPN. And if you want some more football, we got some more action football right now. We got the Southern Utah versus San Jose State. That game was coming on at 10 o'clock tonight. 10 o'clock tonight on CBS Sports Network. So CBS is getting involved. Fox is getting involved. ESPN is getting involved. The ASAP Network is getting involved. And if you're ready, if you don't want to watch the Nebraska versus Illinois game, hey, how about you can catch the UConn Husky, University of Connecticut versus Fresno State at 2 o'clock. That's also on the CBS Network. But we got you right here on the ASAP Network. Woo! And coming up at 9:30, if you want to get your little taste before you see the Southern Utah and San Jose State game, hey, at 9:30, we had the Utah University of Texas El Paso versus New Mexico State. That's at 9:30, but it's no TV given. So, we'll keep it covered here. We'll tell you about the game and stuff. You want to get it all situated here. Get your popcorn, get your meat on, get your tailgate on. It's college football day, baby. It's game day. Game day. And I'm here to tell you all about it. We're going to start it off here. We're going to start off in the Big Ten. We're going to start off the Big Ten, Nebraska versus Illinois, the Big Ten matchup. This game will be broadcast to you live in Fox in Dublin, Ireland. You got to look at you got to look at the Cornhuskers here. You got to look at Frost. Some of the issues that are coming up with Frost on the field issues and stuff. NCAA doing some investigation on Nebraska. But you got to look at this college football team here. Nebraska has revenge on their minds as they visit the Illinois Fighting Alumni. And if you look at it here, this is college football kickoff season. We've been long waiting for college football. We've been long waiting for some football. We've been long waiting for some hitting and some attacking football. Hey, you're gonna get your taste right now. You're gonna get your taste today at 1:20 on ESPN. And on Fox Sports starts it all off. Fox Sports starts it all off with your game today. And we're going to talk about, if you're a Nebraska Cornhusker fan, just hit me up on the comment section here, down below. We'll put it on the show. We'll get you on here. And look, you got to look at Scott Frost. He had some he had some shoes that he had to fill because he left a legacy down in UCF, University of Central Florida. And he hasn't lived up to that reputation up there in Nebraska. They've been some falters in seasons and not being competitive, not like his UCF team days down in Central Florida. So if you look at it here, the Huskers suffered an ugly defeat, 41-23 defeat to the Illinois. That was back in Lincoln last season, and we'll get off to a strong start to take the heat off the head coach Scott Frost. So he's got some heat on him. He's not living up to his expectation. He was there. He came in. They thought he was going to be a winner. They thought he was going to be like he did down in Central Florida. It's kind of hard to win in the Big Ten. Got to recruit a little harder. You got to recruit a little stronger, and it's kind of tough. People to come to. Once again, Nebraska was a top-notch university. Under Todd Osborne, had some championship with Frazier, and so they're trying to get back to those days where they were competitive. And Scott Frost has not done that, and this year is going to be a part of a make-or-break season for Scott Frost. I think the Cornhuskers fans are getting tired of seeing their team lose here, and I think it's time for them to step up. And they're playing in the Big Ten, and the Big Ten is it's a real competitive conference. So, we're going to see how they start off here with the Fighting Alumni. This game is also a Big Ten opening, which is unusual because it's playing in Dublin, Ireland. This is, this derailed them, the pandemic. So the Huskers will face, so if you look at it here, you got to think what Brett Bielema is going to do for Illinois. Is he going to turn it around? Illinois is coming off was 7th and it was 2-6. Brought in Brett Bielema to turn things around. So they fired Lovie Smith and brought in Brett Bielema. He had great success at Wisconsin. So we're going to see how he can if he can duplicate some of that here in Illinois and get the alumni fans excited for this game here. So, we got kickoff and stuff like that coming up here, and this is where we kick off. And I'm sorry, they're not playing in Double Iron. The projection was wrong. They're gonna be playing that game next year against Northwestern. This game is at Memorial Stadium. It's set for 1:00 p.m. The Cornhuskers are a 7-point favorite. That's according by this, Caesars Sports Books, and Caesars, Las Vegas and stuff. That's the betting line right now. They're favored by 7. They're favored by 7 in 7 points. So if you want to make a point spread, you need to bet for Illinois to keep it within that 7 points. If you're betting for Illinois, they got to keep within that 7 points. But I think overall, Nebraska could pull this one out, and it could be about a 14-point win. But then again, we don't know how Brett Bielema is first year at Illinois, so we don't know how competitive that team's going to be on the field under Brett Bielema. We think he's going to be, pretty strong there. So, we got a time to tell. He's still got Lovie Smith's players there. He's recruited some of his players, and we're going to see how this projection. And Brett Bielema is not a bad coach. I like his style of play. He's not a wide open kind of guy coaching. He's more of a run first kind of head coach. Keep the balance on. Start to run, play action. That's his type of offense right there. So can his type of offense work? I believe it could if he gets some good running backs, and he has to establish that running game first. If you don't establish the running game, then his passing game is going to be kind of hard to get the passing. If you don't get the running game going, it's going to be hard to get his passing game because nobody's going to bite off the play action. So that's his type of play. We have to see how that's going to build out here for this. If you're looking at here, so too much here about Illinois. Illinois, I think Nebraska could pull this victory out because they're playing with motivation. Getting blown out last year by Illinois by a 2-6 team, that's kind of embarrassing for a Nebraska college football team. So they're gonna be playing with some heart here, and you're gonna have to play if they want the head coach to stay around. They're gonna have to play for the head coach, and that's gonna be a key here for playing for the college football life and the thing about Nebraska and stuff like that. So we don't know exactly how Arian Martinez is expected to start. How he went last year for him. He started the 2018-2019 matchup and threw for a combined 618 yards and 6 touchdowns with 1 interception. Illinois defense struggled mightily last season, allowing 467 yards They're ranked number 114th per game, including 230 on the ground. 116, Nebraska is likely to focus on the running game, as Martinez has posted 1,776 yards, 4.7 per carry, and 22 touchdowns on the ground, and is a running behind a beefy line. So Nebraska beefed up the line this year. Martinez is a running quarterback. He's not a very accurate thrower. We have seen in the past, but they got a beefy offensive line. So that's going to give him a little bit of advantage there. If it breaks down, he can run behind the meat factory they got there. So, I mean, if Nebraska gonna win this game, they're gonna have to balance it out. They're gonna have Martinez throw the ball. But what Illinois' defense wants to do is force Martinez to throw the ball, not stop the Nebraska run and force Martinez to stand back there and pass that ball. And that's where he struggles, and that's where Nebraska struggles. So if we can see how Illinois, that fighting alumni can cover, if they can cover and force Martinez to some turnovers, this might be another long day for the Cornhuskers and Scott Frost. So, one of two things are going to be established. They're going to have to get the heat off. They're going to have to come in with heart. They're going to have to play tough. They're going to have to know what they did last year against them, knowing they got blown out by Illinois, and it left a bad taste in this sour point. You want to start your season off pretty strong. We know it's going to be some sloppy play today because it's the first game, of college football. First time you're hitting another team, you're not hitting your own teammates in practice, and it's a little bit different with game situation. You're playing another team, so you gotta scheme for that. You have to scheme for it. So that's what we're looking at right now. We're looking at the different types of schemes going to play here. Can Martinez, establish himself? Can the wide receiver establish himself in Nebraska? Can Martinez establish the passing game? Because we know what Illinois wants to do. Illinois wants to put meat up in the front, put an 8-man box up front, force them to pass the ball, beat them with the pass. Because if you do that, Martinez is not going to be very lively. So we got to see if Martinez actually proved himself in this situation. How can Illinois, win this game? This is the rival Brett Bielema. This is the first game. Dribbling is handed. The Huskers will give Illinois plenty of confidence. More of last year's team is back. They included both running backs who were in the top 100 yards, as the alumni piled up 285 on the ground against Nebraska. You got to look out for Mike Epstein. He went for 113 on just 13 carries, and Chase Brown rushed for 110, while the quarterback Brandon Peters had 36 to go with his 205 passing yards. You got to look at Illinois' offensive line, who's also in attack. So the Huskers defense that allowed 169 yards rushing per game last season. It was 69. Could be in it for another long day. Let's look at Brett Bielema's history. Brett Bielema is 11-1 in openers as a FBS head coach, and the Illinois are 9-1 in their last 10 to kick off the season. They have won their last 10 opening games to start the season. Illinois' defense forced 5 turnovers last year's matchup, and Martinez has a history of mistakes, throwing 20 interceptions and fumbling 32 times during his 3 seasons there. Illinois is 4-2 against the spread over the past 2 years as a home underdog, while the Cornhuskers are 5-11 against the spread. Right now, Scott Frost is under Frost, and since 2018, Peters has proved the offense with the stability after injuries and COVID issues, forced Illinois to use 4 different quarterbacks last season. If you look at what they're going to do here today, it's going to be 2 different. It's going to be pretty much a similar offensive type deal. Bielema likes to run. Bielema's got the 2 running backs that gave the Cornhuskers tough time last year. Both of them were over 100 yards, pretty much with just 13 carries and 10 carries for the other one. And then you got Martinez adding on Peters added on some more runnings and added his passing. So they were balanced against the Corners and kept them off balance here. So can Brett Middleton withstand that 11-1 opening day, and can he come out here and improve his debut again in the Illinois head coach? Can he bring the Fighting Alumni back, to a stable season? I believe he's going to have some good games and some ups and downs because he's a first-year coach there in Illinois. So you got to look. Frost is an established guy. Frost established himself. I think this is about his third or fourth year at Nebraska. He established himself down in Central Florida with his type of offense. He hasn't duplicated that here in Lincoln, Nebraska, where he played in his alma mater. But, can he do it this year? Can he establish Nebraska to a pretty good bold team? We don't think he's going to compete with Ohio State. We don't think they're going to compete with Wisconsin. We don't think they're going to compete with Penn State. But can they be in that middle of that pack, competing and getting into the bowl picture? And that'd be a win for Scott Frost. We still got a little bit more pressure on him because we don't see what he had down in Central Florida, where he was undefeated and he had put UCF on the map. We don't see that here at Nebraska, and that's one problem we have right now with this issue here. So, we're looking here, and on the Asapsportsnetwork, this is a fine day here. I got rain here in Jacksonville, Florida. It's just kind of stay in weather, get your TV, get your tailgate on, people, if you're going, out and if you're watching here on the ASAP network, in Lincoln, Nebraska, in Illinois, can you see, can you smell it? I can smell that tailgate. People up there are probably getting ready to tailgate, drinking their beer, get their cocktail going, get that breakfast going, putting that game face on. And Lincoln, they're pumped up. Illinois is way pumped up. Home game, got the team that they destroyed last year. Can they make it another destroy defeat? Can Brett Bielema come back and give the spark that the Illinois alumni, fan base wants? We'll be soon to tell. This game kicks off at 1:00. I think kickoff is about 1:20. So if you want to stay around. So, you gotta think about it. You just gotta think about how this, college football season is going to start. You're getting a taste of action this week, right now. You're getting a taste of action today, and we got you here on the ASAP Sports Network. So, we're going to move away from the Big Ten. We talked a little bit about the big conference there. I think my take here on this, I think Nebraska will win this game. I think they're going to come in with heart from the humiliation they had last year. They're playing for Scott Frost's future at Nebraska. I think they're just going to be – I think Brett Bielema is 11-1 in season. I think we don't know how this offense is going to work. He does have a good running back stable, and he could, run his play action passing game. I mean, if they get the run established, boy, you got to understand, you get that Brett Bielema, Wisconsin style type offense. When they get that running game packet in, boy, you're gonna leave it wide open. Now the problem is, can Nebraska defense cover their wide receivers and get pressure on Peters and stop the running attack? So you're going to see a lot of 8-man. I wouldn't face it. You might see 9-man fronts, here. But the only thing is, Peters is a little bit better passer than Martinez. But, on Illinois side, if I was Illinois, I stack the box 9 deep in the box. Say, hey, look, my corners you got to cover. Martinez ain't going to be good. You force turnovers. If you get to Martinez, that's going to be a great action, bro. That's the problem. You got to get in there. You got to have Martinez. You got to force Martinez to make mistakes, and he will make that mistakes. That's just Martinez's way. It's just his way for the last 3 years, been turning the ball over at key moments of the game. But if Martinez can get that turnover ratio and get his passing better, then Nebraska could be a little bit of, a double-headed monster because you couldn't keep nine in the box, but you get that passing game going. So we're going to see who's going to establish the passing game first, who's going to establish the running game, who's going to establish their identity, get Illinois come back and pull out. So, I mean, you got to understand the situation here. Illinois is coming in, playing at home. You got Brett Bielema there, 11-1 open season. You got Scott Frost is in disarray, who's on the hot seat. You got Nebraska team coming in with heart, playing with humility. So we're going to see how this works out here. We're going to see how this really, really plays out in this type of season. So, let's move on here to another game that's going to be on here. Going to be on TV on. I think this game's on ESPN at 3:30. It's going to be the UCLA Bruins versus the high-flying Hawaii Rainbow Warriors. UCLA, the odds line spread for this is the prediction. I've seen some of their predictions that are coming out. This is going to be a runaway game. It's going to be 56-37. It's going to be a little bit of a high-scoring game, but UCLA, they have UCLA probably prevailing. So you got the outspeed, no huddle, Oregon type offense at UCLA. You got the Hawaii coming in from Hawaii. It's not a long distance trip. It's probably about a 4 or 5 hour trip by plane. So time difference is it's not like the Rainbow Warriors coming all the way back to the East Coast from over there, which is about a 23, 24. I made a long flight from Hawaii all the way back to North Carolina when I was stationed out in Hawaii.
I couldn't hear.
When I was stationed out in Hawaii, in the Navy, I went to a couple Rainbow Warrior games down in Hawaii at Aloha Stadium. They have some good atmosphere there. Their tailgating there in Hawaii is pretty good. But they're playing this in LA. They're playing this at UCLA. On Saturday, the UCLA will host the 2020 New Mexico Bowl champs at the Rose Bowl. It is in a non-conference matchup. Chip Kelly Bruins are looking to bounce back from an underwhelming Pac-10 showing and could run up the score against the visitors with their explosive offense. This game will kick off about 3:30 Eastern time. UCLA is a 17.5 favorite by Caesars Sporting Books. So if you're going to put some money on here, let me break down a little bit of money risk in here. If you want to, stuff, they are saying if you got risking to lose about $600. We put down if you put $100 down, you're going to lose if they're going to cover the point spread. If you do cover the point spread, you're looking at about $600 out of the $100 bet. Basically, that's just what you're talking about. If the Rainbow Warriors is plus 900 underdog, according to the latest Hawaii versus UCLA, the over and under for the total points is set at 68. So if you want to bet the total points is at 68. So you better hope they get to 68. Anything over that 68, you're good. Anything under that 68, you're bad. So I mean, you got to understand this is what you got to understand here too. Chip Kelly's offense and Hawaii's offense are pretty explosive, but which defense is going to stop the other team? And UCLA has a better defense than Hawaii does right now. Let's see here. Hawaii is a significant underdog. We already said that here. They are a significant underdog. They're always going to be a significant underdog. Hawaii's football has just been, they had some good years and some bad years. Cole Brennan, had some good years there with his passing, and they've been trying to continue that condition, all the way out there. It's just hard to have good teams that want to fly all the way out to Hawaii to play them on home games. They do have some teams that do come in there. They do have some good teams that come in. Most of the time, it's the West Coast teams are willing to travel into Hawaii. Most of the time, the other teams would make it if they were in the Hawaii Aloha Bowl game. But you got to understand, Hawaii is way out there in that Pacific Ocean. So if you look at this how they're going to do it here, UCLA will manage to cover the spread in 3 of its home games, knowing to give up a ton of points. The Bruins haven't done a great job capitalizing on home field advantage. The Rainbow Warriors had the better season last year and have prevailed against the odds in recent years. Yes, we know Hawaii sometimes are known as upset people. They upset people, if you take them lightly. And UCLA's defense is got to step up. They're going to have to step up against the Rainbow Warriors because, the Rainbow Warriors will come in. They'll be ready. And, this is the first game of the season, too. So both teams are going to probably play a little bit sloppy. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a close game because of the sloppy play, of the first game of the season. You're hitting other teams, and this is the first time you're hitting other players. And, probably be a lot of penalties, offside penalties, false start penalties. Depends on how the crowd is. What UCLA is expected to do. The Bruins won about an average of 13.5 in 2021 season, averaging 35 points per contest. Hawaii Rainbows a little bit more than 26 points per game last year, forked up 27 points against points per game against opposing teams. So last year they were scoring 27 points. So, UCLA's were firing off all cylinders. That's why they predict the score is going to be 56, 20, 56-37. It's about a 19-point difference or something like that. So, I mean, if you want to bet that point spread, go ahead. 17.5. It's kind of risky odds, but if you're better, just go out there and bet it. So if you're looking at the contrast of these Warriors and UCLA, they both play pretty much a non-huddle offense. It's no huddle all the time. They like to go up and down the field. They got big play people, big plays, and we know Chip Kelly's got the big plays, and you know how he likes to run to the line and get teams tired. So that's gonna be another thing for the Warriors. Are the Warriors deep enough to keep their line fresh in this ball game? Because if Chip Kelly gets that running game going and gets that run and shoot going and speeds up that game, by the time the fourth quarter round, the Rainbow Warriors might be out of gas, and this game could get a big blowout in the end. So, to me, which offense is going to establish themselves? Can Hawaii establish themselves with the offense, and can their defense maintain, Chip Kelly's offense, the little pass and ding and dunk passes that, they got home run hitters at running back. They got home run hitters at wide receiver. That's the way Chip Kelly's, he's got a speed team. So to me, the best defense of the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors is just get up there and jam your receivers, knock them off routes, not let them have a time to break off the line of scrimmage. So, I mean, you got to look at some of the, the fatality, the way these team operates, and whose defense is going to establish, whose defense is going to get the other team's offense out. If a Rainbow Warriors get out, 3 and out, a lot of times, and more, if they have more than 3 and outs, that's going to give Chip Kelly's team an advantage with the time, but getting them up and down the field, because their defense is going to have to keep going back and off. You can only get 3 plays, and then you punting the ball, you put it back in Chip Kelly's hands. He's beating down the field, like a basketball fast break team. And next thing you know, this game has got away. So the Rainbow Warriors is going to have to get UCLA in some long three down, long 3 downs. I'm talking about like 3 and 9, 3 and 8 on third downs, and not these 3 and 1s and 3 and 2s, or have them ring and ding up and down the field. Because if you give Chip Kelly's offense more time in college football, we know how he did in Philadelphia. It didn't really work in the pros, but his college football game, it works in the college football game. And Chip Kelly, known when his Oregon days, how he likes to get up at that line of scrimmage and and hike that ball off. That ain't gonna give your defense enough time to rest or thing. But what Hawaii's got to do, they got to establish the running game. They got to put on prolonged drives, keep Chip Kelly's offense off the field, keep the Bruins defense on the field. You have a better chance of winning that way. If you turn the ball over, give UCLA short fields, give UCLA those three and outs, then your defense is going to be on the field more times, and now all of a sudden you got Chip Kelly's doing a field day, and you're looking at it. If you're looking at the game as 7-7, if Chip Kelly gets his way, that game could well hand be 21-7 in a blink of an eye. So to me, the philosophy is, I know the Rainbow Warriors don't like doing it, but they're going to have to do it in this game. Slow the pace down, run the ball effectively, pass the ball, do not turn them over, punt the ball on third downs if you have to, play the field position game, hope your defense holds up, and then you could possibly come out with a win at UCLA. But, I mean, UCLA is, again, it's going to be a tough hold with Chip Kelly's offense and playing in UCLA behind the home team crowd. Knowing all the pandemic and all this stuff that happened last year, the fans are ready to get in that stadium and ready to rock and roll and help the Bruins win this game. So it's going to be another element too, because last year we didn't have too many fans in the stands, so you could hear all the play calling and all that. But now when you get the fans involved, you get another element involved. You get a home team involved. So this is going to be a lot of stuff that the Warriors are going to have to concentrate on and take out the crowd early. Play your style of football with a little bit of patience. Not turn the ball over. Get first downs. Get on these long drives. Keep the offense of UCLA on the sideline. You have a better chance of beating Chip Kelly. If you can win the time possession, if you can keep the Bruins offense off the field, then you have a chance, because Chip Kelly is not a defense and is not known for his defense. He is known for his offense. The defense is like nice Busker defense last year. They still have a little bit of more power because in the Pac-12, even though the Pac-12 sometimes is one of them laughing Power 5 stock team conference. They play more offense than they do defense. But if you let Chip Kelly get out and run, and you let that floodgate open, it's sometimes hard to put the dam stopper down to shut that flood off. So, that's what you got to look for in this game here. If you want to see a high flying football game, then you got it. If you don't want to see a slow pace, football games and stuff like that, this is one of the games I think is going to be a high scoring game. I think this is what college football is going to look like here in UCLA, and I don't think the Rainbow Warriors have a chance. But hey, once again, they're the Rainbow Warriors, and somehow they found a way to manage to stay in games and try to win ball games and try to pull these upsets. So, anything can happen. First game of the season, UCLA could come out play sloppy. Keep Hawaii in the game. Hawaii could come out and play sloppy, and UCLA just blows them right out in the first quarter. So whatever contrast works here, if Chip Kelly's offense is on game point, the Warriors don't have a chance. But if the Warriors can make it look ugly and stay on task and establish a running game and keep Chip Kelly's offense off the field, they could have a chance. So anyway, this could go any way. But right now, I'm predicting UCLA. I'm predicting UCLA big. So let's keep on moving here on this college football pregame show. We're about 35 minutes into a 3-hour show here. We got a lot of action going on. But I want to go ahead and let you know we are breaking some big news here on the ASAP Sports Network tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Central. We are going to go live on a 1-year anniversary show. All your favorite shows will be on there, coming to you live. We have a lot of special message. We have a lot of breaking news coming up. We got big plans for this network, so stay with this ASAP Network. Come back tomorrow. Hey, Hey, we got the touchdown. We got the pregame show for the NFL that's kicking around. The touchdown crew. They coming on tomorrow. They're gonna have They're gonna extend their a little bit of hours here to get their information out. So we got a lot of pregame shows coming up for you. This show right here is the college football pregame show on Saturdays. We got this covered on Sundays. Hey man, stay with the Asapsportsnetwork Network. We're one of the best networks in town. So let's keep on moving here. Like I said, we're talking about big conferences. We're talking about the small schools. We're going to step it down now. We're going to go to San Jose State versus Southern Utah. Yes, we are. We're going there. Don't turn the town. We're going right now. We're going to stay out in California. We're going to go into the Mountain West with the Mountain West champion, San Jose State University, looking to win its third consecutive season opener when it takes on the FCS level Southern Utah Saturday on the CBS Sports Network. The Spartans is 7-1 in 2020, finishing the last season ranked 24th in the final Association Press and the Amway USA Today coaches poll at number 22 in the college football playoff rankings. The Thunderbird is 1-5 the past spring. Are looking for the first winning season since going 9-3 in 2017. This will be Southern Utah's last season in the Big Sky Conference. It will be moving to the Western Athletic Conference in 2022. So that's a big thing for them, jumping them into a little bit better conference. In 2022, they're going to go out in the WAC, so they'll be out there playing some of the Rainbow Warriors and other teams that give them a little bit of advantage. Some help them a little bit more recruiting, get a little bit more studs in there. The game will be played at 10 o'clock at CEFCU Stadium in San Jose, California. San Jose State averages about 28.6 points per game last season, while the Southern Utah averaged 26.5 the past spring. The Spartans are 22.5 points favorite in the latest of Southern Utah. If you're looking at I like Caesar Sportsbook, so that's why I bring them up a lot here on College Sport Day. They're pretty much realistic in their system, but they saying 56.5 before making a San Jose State pick. This game could be going either way. I mean, you looking at their points, offense they're averaging last season. They're pretty much only like a point difference in this, and I know San Jose State's a little bit better football team, a little bit passionate, but we're talking about the first game of the season. We're talking about going to be a lot of penalties, a lot of mistakes. Who can clean that mistake up? Who could put that ram of things? Who could put that information around and tell and see how this team really could compel? I mean, because you're playing Southern Utah. They're about 2.1 points difference on offense, scoring wise. So this could be another dogfight defense. This could be a defensive battle. I went past Southern Utah. San Jose State's odds, 56 points. That's a lot of points you got to put up against a team that averaged about the same amount of points you do last season. But that's last season. This season is good. Start. I think San Jose State wins. I think that San Jose State wins by 21 points. I don't think the 56.5 will do it. It could, but it all established what defense is going to establish. And that's going to be the thing. The offense is more polished than the defense at this stage right now. It takes a defense a couple games to get their system in, get the identities, get what they need, the adjustments. The offense is pretty much polished because you get out there and you game it out. And because you're there. San Jose State is there. They won their conference, the small school conference. But I mean, can they establish their offense identity and really dominate this, FCS team? I mean, you're looking at big school. You're looking at a FBS school versus a FCS school. But we've seen some of them upsets too from these FCS schools. Can this be another one? Has Southern Utah really progressed, and gotten recruits and gotten established their identity a little bit more? So it's time to tell here. San Jose State won the Mountain West Conference. So they're trying to build on that. They're trying to build on that 24th ranking, 22 ranking in a bowl. They're trying to move up in that bowl. So they got something to play for here too. They got, try to continue that winning way, can try to continue that set up tradition. So, I mean, you got to understand how this San Jose State team is operating. If they come out and they can dominate on the defense, they can dominate on the offense, this team could be we're a lot of trouble here. But, like I said, this is the first game of the college football season. There's going to be a lot of mistakes, a lot of penalties. They got to clean up some of the action. What team can clean up their actions during the game? Who can make in-game adjustments? That's going to be a big key here in this ball game. But, like I said, I'm picking San Jose State. I'm picking them by 21 points. So now we're going to get down to here. We're getting down to some nitty-gritty action here. We got the University of UConn Huskies versus the Fresno State Bulldogs. And that's another California team. So a lot of California teams are in action today. We got UCLA, we got San Jose State, now we got Fresno State. So a lot of teams in action out in California. Action. This game is going to be today at 2:00. It's kickoff time. The Connecticut Huskies battle the Fresno State Bulldogs in a non-conference college football matchup on Saturday. Due to the COVID pandemic, UConn is playing its first game since a 49-17 loss Temple on November 30th, 2019 to end the season at 2-10. Fresno State, meanwhile, is looking to complete a full season after playing just 6 games in 2020. The Bulldogs went 3-3 in the Mountain West Conference to play a year ago. So another Mountain West Conference team in action. They're playing against a UConn team that hasn't played football since 2019. They took a year off because of the pandemic. So, for them, they're trying to get motivation to get back on this field and getting out and hitting. So they're going to play really, really – I think they might play really, really inspired football because they didn't play all last year. Their players are ready to get on the field. They're ready to get that game day on. They're ready to get that pounded. They're ready to get that, that fresh meat. They're tired of hitting each other. They're tired of getting everything set. They're tired not to play last year. They got a little bit of things to prove from that 2-10 season in 2019. Can the UConn Huskies get back to a little bit of a winning way, winning transition against Fresno State? We know about Fresno State. It's a little bit of a small school powerhouse team from the Mountain West. The game will be played in the Bulldog Stadium, and Frisco, California is slated to start at 2:00 on the CBS Sports Network. The last Fresno State, Fresno State is averaging 479.3 yards per game. UConn comes in averaging 344.7 in 2019. They haven't played in a year, so can they establish their dominance on their offensive side against the Bulldogs? Bulldogs are not going to be a slouch. The Bulldogs are favored by 27.5 points in the latest model from the Caesars book. Betting line is Connecticut versus Francis State Bulldogs. Odds for Caesars is the over and under total score is 63 points. They don't think it's going to get out over 63. So you can take that risk and betting that line. You can take your risk and betting the point favorite. Sometimes you might want to take the underdog because sometimes the underdog might stay within that 27.5 is kind of hard to get up with these two teams. So I think this is going to be a defensive battle. I think this could probably be a low-scoring game of the day. So I think Fresno will win because they're at home. I think it's going to be a close contest, and this 27.5. I wouldn't bet the 27.5. I'd take the under. I think the score is going to probably be 21-10 maybe. If Fresno State wins, it'll probably be 21-18. If UConn wins, it could be 21-10. So whatever offense comes here to play for UConn, or if UConn can get back that manage that, some semblance of a game and stuff like that. They're saying that the Bulldogs has a lot of success against independent programs, going 8-4 against them, including win 7 of their last 8. Fresno State last win over an independent school was 20-13 victory over BYU in November 2017. The team's offensive line was solid. They extended the Bulldogs' success. Fresno is tied for second in the FBS with 9 returning offensive linemen who have at least one career start in the Division I level. So that's going to be a key. On defense, the Bulldog defensive line returns a combined 89 career starts between Kevin Atkins, Kwame Jones, Aaron Mosley, Isaiah Johnson, Dave Perrells, and Matt Lawson. Atkins, the senior, returns with the most experience with 32 career starts and 46 games played. Atkins finished the last season with 22 tackles, including 9 solos and with 4.5 sacks. So that's what some UConn's going to have to stop. They're going to probably put a little bit of chipping on him, so they'll stop getting into the backfield. If UConn can establish the run and keep their quarterback upright, UConn has a chance. If UConn can't keep their quarterback upright, it's going to be a long day for UConn, and they wish they were back in 2019, 2020, where they're not playing on the field. So, I mean, it's going to be a lot of stuff. This game is going to be a lot of heart for UConn. They didn't play all last year. They wanted to come out and show that why they didn't, they should have played. So they're going to be, teams didn't want to play them because they were not a conference affiliate. That's why Notre Dame jumped into the ACC last year, because team weren't going to play independent teams. So Notre Dame would never had a chance to play last year, but they went in, jumped into the ACC, so they could play, football. So basically, that's what they did. UConn didn't have the luxury because they're not a no-name football team like Notre Dame was. So they had to sit out a year. Nobody didn't want to play independent teams. So, you got to understand the dilemma, and plus, I think the head coach or the university didn't want to, to risk their players. I understand that, too. The pandemic is, a little bit of danger. We didn't know the wow factor on it. We didn't know how to, what was going to cause what. They really didn't have a guideline on it. And, instead of risking your players' health, set them out and see how it goes. Now they got this vaccine out and they're ready to go play some football. They're ready to go out there and hit. I would be pressured too. I'll be ready to hit too. I'll be ready to go. What does the Husker has to do? The Huskers returns their number of offensive weapons from 2019 squad. We can't say 2020 squad because they didn't play, including several talented underclassmen. One of those, sophomore wide receiver Cameron Ross, as a freshman in 2019, led UConn in receiving with 60 catches and 723 yards and 12.1 average yards and 4 touchdowns. And he's that big playmaker freshman. He's now going to be a junior. He set out last year. I don't know if they're going to allow him to. I think they said they're going to allow him to have that extra year. So he could be, a sophomore in football eligibility, but he's a junior in class. He's that big play weapon. His best game was 8 catches, 169 yards, 2 touchdown performance against East Carolina, not a real big school in North Carolina, out of Greenville, North Carolina. They do have some success in their football program, especially when they play against like NC State, and they had some success against North Carolina when Carolina was a little bit down in their football under Larry Fedora. So, I mean, you can line up there. Their sophomore wide receiver, Herndon Masawi also returns with expected to start along with Ross. So they got to have a double. They got two outside guys who are experienced. He in 2009 with 10 catches, 113 yards, including a long 24 yards. As a true freshman, a year earlier, he caught 4 passes for 88 yards, including 74 yarders. So they got two speedsters outside at wide receiver. So that's going to put a lot of coverage, a lot of pressure on the cornerbacks for Fresno State to try to contain the two speedsters outside. If they get them long, deep plays, Fresno State is going to be in some trouble. So that's going to be there. See how the Fresno's defense's corner is going to have to manage up and stay completely stand up on that thing. So, if you want to comment about this game or comment at anybody in the game, go ahead and hit the comments. We'll bring them up and we'll take it a little bit of further action in there. Hey, if you want to put your tailgate in there, you know what you're eating for your tailgate, go ahead. We like to hear all that here on the ASAP Sports Network and the Ray Sports Show, the pre-college game day show in America, right here on the ASAP Network. So to me, I think this is going to be I'm kind of torn on who I want to pick and win this game, but I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to say this is going to be the UConn Huskies. UConn Huskies going to win 28-10. Yeah, I said it, 28-10. I could be right, I could be wrong. So don't take my prediction to the bank and try to get you some money off of it. Well, this brings us to our last game of the pregame, portion of here of getting you ready for the game, and then later on in the show, we're going to talk about some tailgating. Maybe some of my friends will jump on and tell us about some of their college football experience if they go to college football games and stuff like that. I want to hear some of your college experience. Put them in there. We'll talk about it. This is the Ray Sports Show, the college pregame show on the ASAP Network, the premier networking in America right here. You're listening to one of the best college game days right here on the ASAP Network. Yeah, you can go to all the other ones over there on the big networks. You ain't going to get no tailgating stuff here. They try to do a little bit of tailgating over there, put their little Home Depot thing out. Yeah, they ain't got nothing on us. They ain't got nothing on us because we bring it all here on the ASAP Network. Okay, we're going to talk about the University Texas El Paso versus New Mexico State. The odd lines are 56-37 on a running thing. They were predicting here, so they predicting the score going to be 56-37. Two small schools, and anything can happen game day. Anything can happen. Let's get you a little bit here. The Miners take on the Aggies, and the season over for both teams. Mexico State took the field in spring after missing the 2020 season, while UTEP finished 3-5 from the season ago. So, New Mexico's got the same situation as UConn. They didn't play last year. So they're ready. They're chomping. They're ready to get into game action. They're ready to get hidden. They're ready to hit some other players. They haven't hit anybody since 2019. So they're ready to get in there, and they're ready to get the action going. So you got to think about it. You got to think about the way. So that's going to be the question here, because you got one team hungry. You got the next team trying to improve their record from 3-5 from last year, playing 8 games. This kickoff is set for 9:30 Eastern time. The Miners are 10 points favored in the latest odds from the Caesar Sportsbook. Over and under for the total is set for 59, up 1.5 from the opener. Before locking in any New Mexico, you pick, you want to check out some other predictions and stuff like that before you make up your mind. There's a lot of models out there that you can look at. The sports line, what are we looking at this game here? We're going to look at this game here. We're going to look at the UTEP. This is a very favorable matchup for UTEP. Even on the road, New Mexico State was shaky in 2 games against the FCS opponents earlier this year. including a 43-17 drubbing at the hands of Tulane State. The Aggies allow more than 1,000 yards rushing to those FCS foes, and they are replacing a boatload of production from the team that struggled 2-10 in a record of 2019. On the other side, UTEP is a lot of talent running, including the team's top wide receiver and the starting quarterback and two top flight running backs. So you got to look at the running backs here. You got some top flight running backs. You got Jacob Cowan, who generated 16.9 yards per reception to lead the team with 691 receiving yards in just 8 games last season. But the duo of Dion Hankins and Cordraz Wadley should be able to move the ball. In fact, the New Mexico State rushing defense yield more than 5 yards per tote in the spring. UTEP should run the ball with a confidence on Saturday. So, the Aggies are lacking on that pressure up front. I mean, that tells me that our defensive lineman is not really stout against the run. So if the UTEP can come in here with that running mentality and establish the run, punch them right in the mouth, they could set the Aggies back a little bit. So that's another thing we got to look at here for the New Mexico State Aggies. Can they punch back? Can they stop that defensive line? Can they punch them right back in the mouth and put that stop on them? When you hit that running back one good shot for time, it gives them a little bit of notion, hey, we're not going to come in that middle, run. They're going to be looking for that big hit. If you can lay a big hit on a running back, shake the confidence a little bit, then you got them. You got the running back. You got the running game stopped. Then they're going to have to rely on the passing. And if you can stop the running game all day, that's going to leave your defense up and say, hey, let's tee off on them. We can tee off on them because we're stopping the run. We're really not worrying about the run. We can now put pressure on the quarterback. We can tee off on them. If you can make a football team one-dimensional, that's what the Aggies are going to have to do. They're going to have to make Utah. They got to make UTEP, the Miners, one-dimensional team. If the Miners get that running game going and then get that wide receivers production going, this is going to be a long day for New Mexico State. So has New Mexico State approved since 2019? They haven't played in 2020. Has UTEP took another step up and going to improve that 3-5 record and try to make a bowl game this year? So it's a lot of wild factors in this game. It's a lot of issues that we're going to have to take a look at here in this game. What do the Miners really needs to do here is to punch them right in the mouth. They need to punch them. And the Aggies need to do a counter punching like in boxing. One team takes a jab, the other team, blocks it and takes a jab back. So if the two teams are jabbing each other, then this could be a good game to watch. This game could be close. It could be anything goes. But I think UTEP, because they played last year, what they got from what they had last year and what they got this year. The Aggies really don't know because they haven't played since 2019. So that's going to be a lot of mismatching. But, a lot of what team is going to make the mistake first? What team is going to issue the challenge? What team is going to put down, not get penalized so much? Because, the penalty is going to happen first game of the season. Team's going to cramp up because you're not used to playing 4 quarters strong. Who's got a deeper depth team right here? I think UTEP might have a deeper team. So whoever gets their way at this punch here, I think UTEP's going to win. I think UTEP probably wins by a touchdown. I don't think they're going to get that. I don't think they're going to cover that point, total points of 59 set. I don't think they're going to cover that. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I think it's going to be 21-20 or 21-17.
I couldn't hear what you said.
So, I think there's going to be a lot of issues here with this, with the, UTEP is playing on the road. New Mexico is playing at home. I don't know how much the home crowd is going to be a factor in this. I don't know with their COVID situation if they allow many fans in or some in New Mexico State. So we got a lot of elements here. We got to have to watch out for this game. But this is going to be a 9:30 game just before that San Jose game and stuff. So, you got a powerhouse. You got a Big Ten conference play at beginning. That's at 1 o'clock. Kickoff at 1:20. You have Hawaii and UCLA at 3:30 on the ESPN. You have Southern Utah and San Jose State at 10 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. And also on the Sports Network, you have at 2 o'clock, you have UConn versus Fresno State. Oh, and that's going to be that's a 2 o'clock game. That's 11 o'clock game there in Pacific time. So that's our earlier. That's before noon kickoff in Pacific time for Fresno State, and then you got the UTEP, University of Texas El Paso versus New Mexico State at 9:30. That's probably going to be on a ESPN3 or watch ESPN if you can get that. You can probably catch it there. Most football games are there on their streaming if you don't see them live. So that was it for all the football action portion of this show here. We should have more as next week we start the big other conference like the ACC, the SEC. They all start on a Friday, I think a Thursday and Friday. I think that's how they. Let's look at a little bit of a schedule here. Coming up, we got this week. We already went over this week. Wednesday, September 1st, we're gonna have UAB versus Jacksonville State. We'll talk a little bit about that game here. UAB, at one time that football team was demolished. They brought them back. They're excited to be back. Jacksonville State, they're excited. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. Let's run a little bit down the schedule here. On Thursday night, September 2nd, there's a lot of football games on. Starting at 6:30, we have Temple at Rutgers. We have the Citadel versus number 22 Coastal Carolina, the Battles of the South Carolinas. We have Long Island University versus Florida International at 7. At Boise State versus UCF at 7 p.m. Western Illinois versus Ball State at 7 p.m. on Thursday. We have Wagner versus Buffalo at 7 p.m. We have Weber State versus Buffalo at 7 p.m. We have Weber State versus number 24 Utah. How about this one? This is going to be an interesting one. South Florida versus North Carolina State in Raleigh. That will be on your ACC network at 7:30. We have East Carolina versus Appalachian State, Battles of the Carolinas at 7:30. We have UC Davis versus Tulsa at 7:30. We had number 4 Ohio State joining the action they open up in the Big Ten against Minnesota at 8 p.m. Bowling Green at Tennessee opens up against Bowling Green at 8 p.m. UT Martin, University of Tennessee Martin versus Western Kentucky at 8 p.m. Houston Baptist will play New Mexico. That's at 8 p.m. Eastern Washington versus UNLV, University of Las Vegas at 10. And then you have Southern Utah versus number 25, Arizona State at 10:30. Now, that's your wrap up on your Thursday. Now, Friday, we got some more college football. We're getting some college football coming up next week. Big time college football coming up. We got more games coming up here. They starting here now. I like the way they put these schedule out. They started they started today. They're gonna start on Wednesday. They got a Thursday night game. Now we got a Friday night game. They compete with the Friday night football in high school. Friday night. All these college players now are going, hey, we got a Friday night game. Hey, we're living our high school days in Friday night. And we're going to start off the action at 6 o'clock with number 10, North Carolina versus Virginia Tech in Blacksburg. Tough play to play in Lane Stadium with the Sandman blasting. Carolina has a hard time up in Blacksburg playing. So if the crowd is electrifying up there, we could see a good game between VTech and North Carolina. Duke is opening up in Charlotte against the 49ers. The Battles of the Carolinas at 7 p.m. Old Dominion versus Wake Forest at 7 p.m. St. Francis, PA versus Eastern Michigan at 7 p.m. South Dakota versus Kansas at 8 p.m. We have Michigan State and Northwestern at 9 p.m. on Friday. We have Northern Colorado versus Colorado, Battles of the Colorados at 9 p.m. I think Nate probably have his eye on some of this on these Colorado's games here, since he's from Colorado. South Dakota State versus Colorado State. That's at 9 p.m. That rounds out that Friday action. Oh, man. You want more? We got more here. Saturday's action, September 4th. I will be covering all these Saturday's action on the Ray Sports Show when we come on live at 9 o'clock. We got a lot of football here on Saturday. We got number 2, Oklahoma versus Tulane. We'll talk about that next week. Next week, we'll talk about Penn State versus number 19, Penn State versus number 12, Wisconsin. That's at noon. We have UL Monroe versus Kentucky at 12. We have Colgate versus Boston College. That's also a 12 o'clock kickoff. These games are at 12. We have Western Michigan versus Michigan. We have Holy Cross versus UConn. We have Stanford versus Kansas State. We have Army versus Georgia State at 12. We have Fordham versus Nebraska at 12. Nebraska back on the field. They started off this weekend. They get back on the field next weekend at 12 o'clock against Fordham. And then Fresno State, who's also in action this week. Hey, this is a doozer. They got Fresno State going to Oregon, up in Eugene, at Ogden Stadium. Number 11, Oregon versus Fresno State. That's a 2 o'clock kickoff Eastern time. These games are Eastern time at 2 o'clock kickoff. Rice at Arkansas. Lafayette at Air Force. Number 1, this games are at 3:30. Number 1, Alabama versus number 14, Miami. That's going to be a test of King in Alabama versus that Miami's King versus the Nick Saban's Alabama team. We're going to see how good Alabama is, and Miami really see how they can stack up against a team, an astronomical team. We have Miami of Ohio versus number 8, Cincinnati. Can Cincinnati reduplicate what they did last year? Can they be a team, be a force to be reckoned with? They started out ranked number 8. They're going to play Miami, Ohio at 3:30. Number 17, Indiana. Can Indiana duplicate what they did last year versus number 18, Iowa? We know all the Iowa's tradition. We know that. And the fourth quarter, when they turn around, wave at the kids at the hospital. I like that. I like that emotion. I like that way they do that. It's paying respect to the kids at the hospital. I mean, I like that. You can't talk too bad about Iowa by that tradition. That tradition is like no other. I mean, it puts a little, touch in my heart too, because I got kids, and you don't want to see kids in the hospital and stuff like that. But I think that's a great tradition they did at games, and the kids get to watch from the hospital itself, that they can't go out in the field. That you have these conditions that they can't be outside. It brings them to the college football game, and I think that's the beauty of Iowa, and the expectation of that football stadium, and their dedication to the kids and stuff. And so you can't like that. Then you got the Marshall, these at the Naval Academy. We know about the Naval Academy. We know about Marshall. We'll talk a little bit more about that next week. We're going to get you into that West Virginia and Maryland game. We know the history between West Virginia and Maryland. They don't like each other. That game's at 3:30. These games are at 4 o'clock on Saturday. Louisiana Tech versus Mississippi State. Central Michigan versus Missouri. UMass at Pittsburgh. Montana State at Wyoming. Northern Iowa versus Iowa State, the battles of the Iowas. Number 23, Louisiana versus number 21, Texas. That's a 4:30 kickoff game. That rounds out the 4:30. Now we're looking at the 5 p.m. game. Only one there, San Jose State. That's in action today versus U.S. number 15 USC. We're gonna see how the University of Southern California Trojans. We're gonna see how they running out there. You know, hey, look at this. This is a battle of Campbell versus Liberty. We got Roanoke, Virginia, and Campbell outside in Bowie Creek, North Carolina. So we're gonna see how they battle it out. You got Gardner Webb and Georgia Southern. These games are at 6 p.m. 7 p.m. Oh man, we gotta keep it going. We got a long ways to go, man. We got a long ways to go here in the schedule here. I'm bringing down the schedule for you a little bit here. This is the schedule time. We'll go over the teams that are going to play what day, and then we'll get back into some more football action, and we'll cover some more. We'll cover the Wednesday night game. We'll cover the Thursday night games. We'll try to get into the Friday night games. We got less than 2 hours left here. We got less than 2 hours to go on the Ray Sports Show. So in college football pregame, and then we get that action, get that feel. Then when I leave you here at noon, you have an hour and 20 minutes, and that's when college football starts. The power action. But the ASAP Network got you really covered here. And also, stay with us. Stay with us on Sunday. Stay with us. Give us support to the touchdown crew. They're going to get you started into the NFL season. We got that 6 o'clock. We got the 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 Central Time. We have an anniversary show. Hey, all our great shows are going to be here. We got the Real Talk. We got the, Bring It. We got the Garage Sports Talk. We got ASAP Wrestling Hour. We got, Just Say the Truth. They're going to be all on this show. Keep it up. Sports Corner is going to be on this show, tomorrow. We got a big thing. We got a breaking news announcements coming big here. We're going to break something big on the network here on Sunday. I can't get into it today, but, I just want to get you prepped for it, get you ready for it. Stay with the ASAP Network. We're getting big. We're getting big here. We're gonna be joining a lot of stuff here. We're gonna be doing a lot of stuff big here for the ASAP Network. We got it all big and straight up for you. And just like this college football show, one of the world's best college football pregame show in the world, right here on the ASAP Network. So we got to keep it going. We got to keep this ASAP going. We got to keep our fans going. That's good. We got our website. We got our website going on. We got to get that. Get that situated going here. We got that. Yeah. We got a lot of stuff going here. Look at that. Boom. Look at that. Soon to talk about the website. Look at that, boy. Look at that. It just came out of nowhere. You're listening to the Ray Sports Show here on the ASAP Network. I like to have fun on my shows and, try to keep people ability up, keep everybody swiffing, stuff like that. So, there's a lot of stuff coming up. Let me see here. I want to try something here. Might be a little dangerous. I want to try something. This is a little dangerous little thing here. If I lose it, I'll get back on and stuff like that. So, Hey, look, we got it. I'm gonna break it right now to you here. I've seen something in a little chat here. I'm gonna break it down to you. Hey, starting on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, starting this week, we have 3-minute warning. And what is the 3-minute warning show? It's all about It's a Canadian podcast football, the Canadian League. If you want to learn about the Canadian League football, listen to my boy Bill. Bill comes on Wednesday, 8 p.m. starting this Wednesday. The 3-minute warning, the Canadian football podcast, man. Hey, we're getting it covered. We're getting all sports covered here. Getting it almost in that time where we can get all that stuff, getting all the sports covered in, and you only have to come to one network right here, the ASAP Network. Stay with us, man. We're getting big here. We got our website rolling. Working on getting some more stuff. I am the website developer here for the ASAP, so I'm bringing it all big and stuff like that. So come on, babe. Stay with the ASAP Network. Hey, learn about the Canadian Football League, man. Bill's a good guy. Bill will teach you about the Canadian Football League. If you don't know anything about Canadian Football League, it's very interesting football. It's like American football, but the goalpost is in front of the end zone, not in the back of the end zone. So he does a little bit. Got to get used to it here, but I mean, they play great football up in Canadian. You know, some American players that can't make the NFL, they go to the Canadian Football League. So I mean, you know, let's give Bill some dap here. Coming up with a 3-minute warning. It's at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central on the ASAP Network on Wednesday. So we got that new show coming to you. I'll put it out there for you, Bill. Have a good show, man. Anyway, let's get back to it here. Where I left off with the Akron Auburn game. These games are at 7 o'clock on next Saturday. We have Akron versus Auburn. We have Eastern Illinois versus South Carolina. We have Monmouth versus Middle Tennessee. We have Syracuse versus Ohio. Hey, we have Oregon State versus Purdue. We have Texas Tech versus Houston. We have Missouri State versus Oklahoma State. We have Baylor at Texas State at the Battle of the Texas. Hey, Nichols versus Memphis. Aberdeen Christian versus SMU. Norfolk State versus Toledo. We have Central Arkansas versus Arkansas, Battle of the Arkansas. Hey, we have Southern versus Troy. Hey, this is a big one. One of the big games here. A top 5 matchup. We have number 5 Georgia playing number 3 Clemson at 7:30. These games are at 7:30. And if you don't want to, if you want to battle of the Floridas, we got the Battle of the Floridas. We got the Florida Atlantic versus University of Florida, which I think Florida's going to destroy them. But, you know, we don't know exactly how that's going to work out. You know, Florida lost in Trask. And so we really don't know how that's going to work out here. So, I mean, you got that situation there. That's going to be an interesting season, Dan Mullins. We'll talk about that next week. Hey, man, we got a lot of shows. We got a lot of football coming up next week. We're going to talk about it. But hey, look, I like to keep y'all interested in here. Let's keep it going. Hey, how about Northwestern State versus North Texas at 7:30? We have UTSA, University of Texas San Antonio versus Illinois. Yes, Illinois will be back in action. Northern Illinois versus Georgia Tech. William and Mary, Battle of Virginias versus University of Virginia. Kent State versus Texas A&M. Montana versus number 20 Washington. How about East Tennessee State versus Vanderbilt? How about Southern Miss versus Southern Alabama? How about Duquesne versus TCU? How about number 16 LSU versus UCLA? So UCLA will be back in action, but they have a game up on LSU. So they'll have some of the kinks worked out. LSU will be starting their football game. That's going to be an interesting game. They'll be playing up in UCLA. And that's an 8:30 game. At 9 o'clock, Bethune-Cookman versus UTEP. How about Nevada versus California at 10:30? These games at 10:30. BYA, Nate, we got a game for you, man. BYU versus Arizona at 10:30 next Saturday. Hey, that's for you, mate, man. You know you like BYU and stuff like that. You have friends that, you know, that went to BYU, so I know that kind of holds a heart dear to your heart. So, hey, man, catch the action, man. You know, that's at 10:30 Eastern time. That'd be 7:30 your time out there in the West Coast up in Washington. That's where you're at right now. New Mexico State is back in action against San Diego State. Utah State versus Washington State, and then Portland State versus Hawaii. That is a 11:59 game, but that is a 5:59 game in Hawaii time. So that rounds out there. Hey, you think we stopping on Saturday? Hey, we got a Sunday matchup. Number 9, Notre Dame will come to Doak Campbell Stadium versus Florida State. And let me talk about it. I'm going to talk a little bit about that game right now because that game is going to be a little bit of a sentimental game. You know, Bobby Bowden passed away this year. Long-time Florida State head coach. It's going to be it's an ABC game at 7:30. I think it's going to be a lot of motion running around that team. I think, you know, it's going to give Florida State some momentum to play for the late Bobby Bowden, try to win that game for the late Bobby Bowden. Um, it's Bobby Bowden. You might not have liked him as a head coach. You might, if you're a rival like Miami or Florida, you're really passionate about it. But you gotta take a moment to step back a little bit here and talk about when somebody passes away, it's detrimental to the school that they really loved them. They really brought them to the forefront of the of football. Um, the late Bobby Bowden, his family lost a loved one. You got to pay homage and stuff like that. Sometimes we all got rival schools. We all talk junk to the rivalry teams, but you got to think about life is life. You know, you're here one moment, you're not promising the next day, you're not promising the next second. You know, we don't know exactly how we're gonna approach this situation when God decides to call us home and stuff like that. So, um, really, life point. So, like we talk about, I got people I don't like them, as a coach standpoint, and because they're rivals and stuff like that. You know, you got to pay some respects to like these coaches, like Coach K. You got to pay a little bit of respect. If you don't like LeBron James, you got to pay a little bit of respect. He does do his craft well. That's probably why people really look at it. Certain aspects of life is that, and this is what Bobby Bowden is: the time of need and time to reflect on Bobby Bowden's life. And I think this is going to be an emotional game. Bobby Bowden really got out to play against Notre Dame when Lou Holtz was there when they played. Bobby Bowden took every game seriously. Um, to his core, he wanted the best ability of his team out there. This is going to be a moment, really a teary-eyed moment at Florida State, and it's going to be against a team that is number 9 ranked team in the nation. Florida State's trying to get back on that ranking, and that you get back in the ranking. This game is going to set the knocks off. Hey, if Norvell can turn this Florida State team around and be a competitive team this year and be a little bit more upmost, then you get to see the transition from Taggart to back to a Florida State. But Florida State hasn't been in prominence since Jameis Winston was there when they won the national title, and then the thing with Jimbo Fisher, leaving and the issues he had, and then Willa Taggart issues he came in with, not getting the team back the way it needed to be. And then you got Mike Novell that came in that made, you've seen some big victories last year, some ups and downs. But Florida State's got to get back to the level where Clemson is and make the ACC a little bit better. And so, to me, I think this is going to be a very emotional game with the passing of Bobby Bowden. And so my heart really is out to Florida State and their families and Bobby Bowden's family. So, and then we also now, moving on from that, we also now have a Monday night, September 6th. We have Louisville versus Ole Miss at 8 p.m. So that rounds out your first week of college football schedule. And we're gonna get right into some of these actions here. So let's see here what we're gonna talk about here. Let's start off with the Wednesday night action here. Let's start off with UAB. Let's start off with some UAB talk here versus who did he play first? He played Jacksonville State. Not Jacksonville. Jacksonville State is in Mississippi, not here in Jacksonville, Florida. Let's see here. I'm just pulling up my notes on my computer here. Here. What can we find out about Jacksonville State and Mississippi and UAB game talk here? Let's see here. Let's begin to talk here. We got the Montgomery kickoff. Jacksonville State versus UAB, University of Alabama, Birmingham. To open up the football season in Montgomery, Jacksonville Stadium at UNAB will open the college football season in 2021. The Montgomery kickoff will be played on Wednesday night, September 1st at the historic Camden Bowl in Montgomery. The game will be televised by ESPN. Boo. ASAP Network, man. You know, we need to get big so we can start competing for some of these football games to be on our network. You know, instead of going to these, ESPN, CBSs and stuff like that, we want the games on the ASAP Network. That's what we want to hear. We want it on the ASAP Network. We want to have commentators commentating games on the ASAP Network. We want to get big, baby. We want to get it big, and we want to get it going. Our fans, come on, man. You need to help us out. Go to our YouTube page. Like our YouTube page, man. We got to get some big followers on the YouTube page. We got some big followers on our Facebook page. Hey, y'all go all our fans on the Facebook page, go to our YouTube page and get us likes. Hey, come on. We need to get that. We need to build up some likes on our ASAP YouTube page, man. Let's get it going. Hey, we on Twitch too, man. We on Twitch also. Hey, we got it strolling. We got it all right here. We got it all strolling right here. You know, I made it easy for you. Look, I even got the website. Hey, like www.asapsportsnetwork.com. Hey, look at the Facebook page at All Sports, All Play. You put in that little search. Hey, look at the YouTube at it. You can search right there, ASAP Sports Network. Hey, look at Twitch, ASAP Network. I got you covered. And you also can go on my Facebook page, you know, the Ray Sports Show 1. And, you know, give me a little bit of love, too, on that page. But we're all connected. We are all connected to the one network right here, the ASAP Network. Got to get it live, baby. Got to get it live. We got to get it rolling, baby. Got to get it rolling. Got to get it rolling here. You know, let's talk about it here. Let's talk about the Wednesday night ball game. We got a little bit more action to talk about here. We are pleased to. This is from the exact quote from the Johnny Williams, executive director of the Carmella Bowl, said. This is exactly what he said. We are pleased to open the 21 college football season with the Montgomery kickoff. He also said this will be the first meeting between these two in-state schools in 15 years. 15 years in the making. 15 years in the making for this game here. You telling somebody wants some some bragging rights? 15 years since they played? This is a 15-year in the making, man. So I think he kept on saying this. I think both fan bases or the local football community will enjoy this matchup at the Cameron Bowl. Jacksonville State, 10-3, won the 2021 Ohio Valley Conference and reached the quarterfinals of the FCS playoff for the first time since 2015. The Gamecocks won their 9th OVC title in their final season in the league. They are making the move to the ASUN Conference in time for the 22-23 academic year and will compete in the AQ7 with Eastern Kentucky, Central Arkansas, Sam Houston, Stephen F. Austin, not Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, you thought I was going to go there. I almost slipped it, but no. Stephen F. Austin, Lamar, Aberdeen Christian during the transaction in the fall of 2021. UAB 6-3 is the defending Conference USA champion after defeating Marshall 22-13 in the CUSA championship game last December. The Blazers qualified for a bowl game for the 4th straight year. Jacksonville State and UAB have met 5 times previously. The Blazers holding the 3-2 series lead. JSU won the inaugural meeting 28-12 in Birmingham on September 7, 1994. The Gamecocks posted a 28-26 win in Birmingham on September 16, 1995. And UAB has won the last 3 meetings, including a 35-28 win in the last meeting at the Legends Field on September 15, 2005. UAB head coach Bill Clark and JSU head coach John Grass will be reunited in the season over. Clark was the head coach of the Gamecocks in 2013 when Grass served as his offensive coordinator. The duo led the Gamecocks to 11-4 record, and the qualifying of the FCS playoff. School in the deepest FCS run to that point. Clark became the coach at UAB in 2014. He was complied a 42-22, 6.45 winning percentage record in 5 seasons at UNLV. He has led the Blazers to 2 Conference USA championships in 2018, 2020. So we're looking at this. We're looking at it right here. We're looking at UAB. He has won 3 CUSA Western Division title, 2018, 2019, 2020. Clark is 1990 JSU graduate. So we got a person that played at JSU is going to play against his alma mater. Coaches alma mater, went to UNA to a little bit of, trying to commit this rivalry back up and going. I think this is a good matchup of both schools. Contributed some rivalries here. Try to build a rivalry. You got a good rapport because you have your former coach at Jackson State, now at Alabama, Birmingham. You got his friend, the offensive coordinator at the time that he was at JSU, has now taken over the program. So you probably know they're good friends and stuff like that. So they're probably working out trying to get this to build up as a non-conference rivalry. I think it's good for the city. I think it's good for the community. I think it's good for college football, for their community, for these two to compete. It also is you competing for local, football players and stuff like that in the area, and it helps recruiting too when you got all that stuff. So, I mean, you gotta look at it. You gotta look at it. You gotta look at everything here is for Alabama, Birmingham, and Jacksonville State to set it up for their battle of the Alabamans, and I think this is going to be a good sustain if they can sustain this rivalry here. Clark went on and said it's great for our players to have the opportunity to open the season in prime time on ESPN. Yeah, when beginning of football season started, I mean, a lot of games will be on ESPN that you don't expect to be on ESPN because the way they spread it conference, that makes it a little bit more compelling to see some of these smaller schools on ESPN, instead of having the big schools all the time on the network. ASAP, we need to put some bids on some of these small schools. Start small, work your way big. We put some bids on these small schools and have them play on the network. We got to get this thing rolling, baby. We got to get it rolling here. That's some stuff we need to get. We need to get it rolling. We need to get them, see if we can put them on our Facebook network here, on our YouTube page. Have games. Have us call some games, man. Come on. We need to step up to the plate a little bit here. We need to get some fun. But the only way we can do that is get our fans to help us out a little bit here. We got to build up a fan base here. We got to build up our YouTube page. Hey, y'all, come on, man. Everybody who shared who liked our Facebook page, go over there and like our YouTube page, man. We got to get that thing rolling, baby. We got to get it rolling. Hit all our networks. Hey, we got to hit Twitch. Hit our freaking YouTube page. Stay on that Facebook page. Hey, we got it live. Hey, look, you know what? You can also go to our ASAP, webpage, and you can see me live there too. Yeah, we got it all rolling. We got it live on my page, on our website. We're live on our Facebook page. We're live on our YouTube page. Hey, man, we got to get it rolling, bro. You got to get it rolling here. You got to get it rolling. Stay with the ASAP network because we getting big, and you're going to be one of those people. And you can say, hey, I was there all the way. I was there from the time they built their first, show in 2020, a year from Sunday, 1 year. I wasn't here for the whole year. I didn't join the network until February, a little bit after February, March time frame. My mom passed away. I was looking something to keep my occupation, keep my mind right because I am suffering with PTSD from my military service days. Sleep apnea deprived. So my mom passed away. She was my last parent thing. I have my sister to fall back on now. I have my brother to fall back on. But, our family was close knit. My mom kept us close knit. That's the way she wanted it. And to me, the loss of my mom was really big. And I so happened I was just in a podcast chat room and then, our CEO here, Freddie Henderson, put a post out there. Some people that come and join his network. Um, if you talk sports and stuff like that, so of course I like talking sports. I've been talking sports since I was 5 years old. And a real quick little story here. Um, so I went in and I emailed. I sent a comment and say, yeah, I'll give it a try. It's kind of I wasn't new to the podcast, but my shows I was just reventing. But I just wanted to kind of join a network or something because I always wanted to do this, and this is my passion to be a sports talk guy, commentator. I used to call basketball games. I used to be the whole thing. I used to be the team, the other team, the coach, the broadcaster, the PA announcer. My mom thought I was crazy because she come outside and called me one day, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I was playing basketball by myself on a goal, and I was blocking a shot. I was dunking. Um, I was all kinds of doing kind of mess. We had a goal on our garage. It wasn't a 10-foot goal. It was like maybe like a 8 foot or maybe 7 to 8 feet, and enough where I could jump up and dunk it. Trying to be like Michael Jordan, trying to be like the Tar Heels. That's my favorite team and stuff like that in college, and it was just funny. My mom coming in and said, "What are you doing, dude?" And I said, "I was," and she's like, "Watch me." I think she watched. She said she watched a full hour before I realized she was there, and she said, I seen you block a shot. I seen you make a shot. I seen you dunk. I seen you call the game. I seen you PA announcer. I see you write stuff down in a book." Um, then my mom got on me one day, for um, doing my homework. I really wasn't doing my homework. I was saying I was doing my homework, but actually I was writing down stats I saw off the of ESPN broadcast, watching the NBA game, and it was back when Matt Johnson and James Worthy, and he just got there as a rookie year for the Lakers. James Worthy rookie year, he played at the University of North Carolina, and North Carolina guy from Concord, North Carolina. So I was just sitting there and I was watching the game and I was writing stuff in a book. I kept a running log book. My sister said she found the book about maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and she was like reminiscing, and she's like, she's telling me, she called me up and she's like, I found your book. I said, what book? She said, all your stats book, all 25 of them, and they had the dates on them. And she's like, dude, some of these dates were like when you were in school. I said, yeah, I didn't pay too much attention in school. My attention span in school wasn't great as education wise. I was more into sports. I wanted to be a sportscaster. I let it go to my head. I was good. I didn't fail any grades. I wasn't that good in academics, but I cut my grades up because I played football and I played basketball and stuff in high school. So I had to keep my grades up a little bit, at least a C average. But I mean, most of the time my attention was and my and hold on one second. I mean, one, so one thing was that thing was, and that's why. So hold on one second. So, but yeah, it might have some technical difficulties. Hold on one second. If you're watching live, let me make sure here that I can see it. Hold on one second here. I need to make sure. I think something's going on with our Facebook page. Going live here. Hey, if you're watching the show here, let me know in the comment section which one where you're watching it at. So so we can clear up some. Yeah, it should be live here. Hold on one second. I might have forgot to put the Facebook page. Yeah, I did. Oops. There we go. Yeah, somehow the Facebook page live feed jumped. All right. So let's get back to it here. So, I was talking about a little bit about myself and a little bit about the story. Um, so let me see here. Let me try and see if it's working here. If you're on Facebook, let me know if you see it. Should be on here live. There we go. Yep, we're back. We're back live. We're back live on the Facebook. So what's up there, Freddie? Sorry about that, but the Facebook thing jumped off of StreamYard. I got it back up and running. Thanks, Jay, for going there and looking at it and stuff like that. So now we got it up and running. We got everybody back on Facebook here. You probably missed the first hour of the show. I didn't realize Facebook jumped off. We got Freddie talking about roll tide. No, we ain't rolling with the tide. Hey, the only time you roll with the tide is you're washing your clothes, man. Come on now. You got to think about it. You're washing your clothes with the tide. That's one of the time I roll with tide is washing my clothes. I don't know about this old Alabama, Crimson Tide, stuff like that. So, hey, we got Mike chiming in with Clemson, baby. Yeah, that's all right. I'm a Tar Heel fan, so I'll roll with my Tar Heels anyway. So, and then we got Anthony Price coming in saying, "Hey, go Ducks!" Yeah, I like Oregon with all them crazy uniforms and stuff like that. Sometimes I'll just watch Oregon to see what uniform they come out with. You know, up in there, Eugene and stuff like that. So I mean, that's some good things. So we're getting it back rolling with Facebook. People back and join us. But anyway, talking about this, let's continue talking about the Alabama Birmingham game a little bit here. This is a 15-year in the making game. They're happy to play this game here at the Camilla Bowl. Officials came out and said they were welcome to try to get this rivalry thing. I think that because the head coach of the coach at UAB was a former coach. Was a graduate from JSU, Jacksonville State University, and also he was a head coach there, and the offensive coordinator was his. The head coach at Jacksonville State was his offensive coordinator at the time he was there. He left to go to UAB, and then they promoted the offensive coordinator to Jacksonville State. They're trying to get this football program back up and running. They met 5 times. I think this is going to be good for the community of Alabama to have these two games played every year. If they can get it set out for every year to play against each other, try to start a little rivalry, help recruiting for both of them in the in-state recruit and stuff like that. So, I think this is going to be a great time and stuff like that. So, I mean, you got to understand about, these schools here, a little bit of a small school. I really like them. And, hey, look, talking to the devil. We're going to bring my man on here in a minute here. We're going to bring Jay, man. Jay's going to talk some college football with us. How you doing there, Jay?
What's going on, Ray? How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good.
Smell like college football in the air.
Yeah, I smell it. You smell the tailgate?
Hey, man, the tailgate, and I'm ready for the tailgate and the brats. little bit of tri-tip going. You know how it is when the football starts rolling around.
Oh no, man! I got that brisket sitting in my freezer.
Hey, ready to fire it up?
I got
I'm excited, man. I'm ready for it to kick off.
yeah. So I don't know I know the show has probably been off and on Facebook. I don't know what's happening. That thing jumped off or something, so I brought it back. So let's recap a little bit here. So UCLA and Hawaii's playing today. You know, the Rainbow Warriors are known for their upsets and known for this ability. We know Chip Kelly's known for his fast breaking, basketball term, fast breaking offense. And
Yeah.
so, what do you see how the Warriors can slow down UCLA and make this a more competitive game?
I mean, just looking at UCLA and Hawaii in that sense, I mean, it's gonna be a shootout. And it's gonna be up for Hawaii to keep up. Um, like you said, Chip moves that offense. The amount of possessions that UCLA is gonna go through. Hawaii just has to keep up with them because they're gonna move the ball, and they got to cut down touchdowns. Have them kicking field goals in that red zone, that 30 down, that 30 back area. So if they can do that, it could definitely be something where we'll see the Warriors pull out another upset here, week one of the college football year. But if they can do that, I see UCLA beating them by about 20 points.
Yeah, to me, I think what the Hawaii needs to do is establish that running game. You know, their identity is go no huddle and go a little bit up tempo, but you can't really match up tempo with Chip Kelly. You got to back it down a little bit. So to me, I think they need to start that running game, get that running game going. If Hawaii has more possessions than Chip Kelly and they can keep the 3 and out to minimum, I think Hawaii
Correct.
has a shot. But the problem with Chip Kelly is he's not known for his defense. So I mean, UCLA is not going to be really big on defense. I think Hawaii can move the ball on them, but if Hawaii does their little fast breaking themselves and make this a fast up and down thing, I think he's going to play in UCLA's advantage.
Yeah, it's just
So
like what you're going along with your basketball notions. It's just like Steve Nash in the old school Suns, man. If you run into their pace, they want as many possessions as possible. They're okay with coming down 7 seconds or left, taking a long jump shot because they know they're going to get the ball back and they know they're going to have more possessions than usual. So it's either you cut that down or you play into that. You play into that, you're playing into what they want.
right now, let's move a little bit here to the Nebraska and Illinois game. You think Scott Frost is on the hot seat right now?
Definitely. I think Nebraska is has these last couple of years just hung around. I think that with that division and the moving around over the last few years, I think they're just now settling in. But now they had a full year of it last year where there wasn't no disruptions too much besides the COVID and everything. I think the COVID might play a part in him having one extra year, regardless of what really goes down this year. I think that might help him buy him one more year. But definitely he's on the hot seat. We need to see him make some moves. We need to see him have not only a winning season, but a bowl win as well.
Yeah, to me, I think Scott Frost is missing that. When he was at UCF, he brought that notion that an undefeated season
Yeah,
can make UCF competitive, and he thought they were going to bring him to the Big Ten. But the Big Ten is a little bit more of a big monster conference than the UCF was, and he really
yeah,
didn't play too many big colleges down in UCF to make that thing. So when he got into the big taste of the Big Ten, I mean, he came from Nebraska. He knew about the Big Ten of football. Knew about the Pac. He played in the Big 12, I think, at the time when Nebraska was in the Big 12. So
yeah.
I mean, it moved over to the Big Ten, a little bit more of a running style game. So now let's take a little bit about Illinois. If Illinois established that running game like they did last year, does the humiliation from last year's loss in Nebraska will fuel this revenge game?
I think that definitely Illinois is coming into this with more to prove, based off of that alone. But again, I really feel like it's Nebraska's to lose, um, because there's a lot more on the line for them. Illinois, I mean, when we sit up here, we mention Illinois. There's not much we expect from them. Um, a winning season for them is overachieving to me if you really look at their roster and what they've done over the last few years. So again, I think Nebraska is the one that has all the pressure, and Illinois is coming in free play.
Right. And then you got Brett Bielema, who is 11-1 in season openers, you know, at Illinois, taking over from Lovie Smith. But he's still got them two running backs, and he's still got Peters at the quarterback position. But now you got to look at Nebraska's quarterback position in Martinez.
Correct.
He's going to have to definitely have improving. He's going to have to cut down on his turnovers. If Illinois can get in that box, set up that box, 8-man box, and force Martinez to pass, that's going to lead to Illinois probably a little bit more turnovers, causing it. Martinez going to cherish the ball a little bit more. So what do you think about Martinez in this year? You think he's going to be that quarterback, or will it be a quarterback change early?
Again, that's another thing that comes down, Ray, to minimizing those turnovers. He has an arm. I like the way he delivers the football himself. I just think that his IQ is not following. Maybe the game's still moving a little bit too fast for him, so he's seeing things that are late. So the windows are closing quick. But I really believe that Nebraska needs to go back to that combo play action. They need to get back into that a little bit more, which will help him out. Rather than, like you said, Illinois stuffing that box, shutting that down. Next thing you know, we're going to an air raid, or we're having to throw 3 out of 4 plays. So if they can keep that balance up, I think in the long run it will help Martinez as a quarterback. But ultimately, it comes down to X's and O's and what he's doing in the film room. That's what it looks like, because the skill level's there, the mechanics are there. It's that IQ. I don't know if he's seeing things later or thinking he has bigger windows than he does when he winds up to throw that ball, but he has a lot of turnovers, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, this is his third year in this offensive system, and to me, by your third year, you should be pretty much not throwing the ball late, knowing the playbook. You think it's his efficiency to learning the playbook, or understanding the playbook, or not reading the coverage?
I think it's less of the understanding the playbook and more of the reading the coverage and the speed. If you're looking at a slant and there's a 2-yard window, well, you need to see that a yard before that window hits. You know what I mean? And if he's seeing it as he's breaking out, well, the corner's seeing that too. So, you know what I mean? I don't necessarily know if it's understanding the offense, because if it is understanding the offense, then that falls back on the coach as well. Because if you know your quarterback struggling with certain portions of the offense, we shouldn't be calling certain plays in certain situations. We shouldn't be, running plays that our team is not comfortable with. So I'm going to, just by looking at him from last year, I'm not going to put it on that, and I'm going to put it on him seeing things and that IQ level just not being up to par yet. Hopefully, like you said, third year in the offense, him being comfortable more, because that's another part of it. If you're uncomfortable in that pocket, those things are moving fast already, and then you're uncomfortable. Well, you're seeing things that aren't even happening because you're not comfortable. You know what I mean? You're seeing defensive disguises that they didn't put on the defense. It's just happening in your head because you're not comfortable back there to really take that breath, relax, and see what's going on in that field. So, hopefully this year, with a bit of comfortability coming into the season, understanding that playbook through and through, because hopefully he spent his lockdown, studying, and that translates to the field.
Yeah, but see, when you play quarterback, you got to anticipate a lot where your receiver is. You got to hit them before they come out of the break.
Yep.
And my coach used to tell our quarterback in high school and stuff, and when you see the guy open and you don't throw it, and you throw it late, you ain't participating. You're not reading that coverage right. You're not knowing where you got to go with the ball. You don't know the playbook. To me, a quick slant, if you do a quick slant right, that goes all the way back to high school days. Throwing your quick slants, you got to get that ball right away. You can't go 5 yards deep and throw a slant. You got to go 2 or 3 yards step and throw it. And watching him, sometimes he go 5 yards before he throws a quick slant, and sometimes that quick slant is like 10 yards down the field, and then you already got a guy already covering.
Breaking on that.
So I mean, the anticipation to me, I don't think I think he's more in tune of a running quarterback than he is a real standing, pocket kind of guy. And I think that it's not bringing it into the thing. So to me, I think if he gets hit one time in this game, his confidence could be shot right off the bat because his confidence is not really there right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ray. To answer your original question, if he gets hit sometime in this game and he loses his confidence in week 1 of this season, then yes, there will be a quarterback change by the end of the year. Yeah. Because we can't go through, we can't start at the beginning and get a melty ice cream cone right off the bat. You're not going to survive the ice cream cone. It's going to be melted by the time you get to the bottom. So if we get melted in week 1, you got to go.
Right. And then let's turn our heads to UConn and Fresno State. UConn didn't play. That last game was in November of 2019. They didn't play last year. Some of the independent schools didn't get picked up on schedules. Like BYU did get picked up on schedules, but like Notre Dame went to the ACC. They were independent. UConn's an independent school. Didn't get picked up on nobody's schedule because they're not really known for their football. So what do you think you're going to see out of UConn today against Fresno State?
Rust. Yeah, rust. I mean, and this is going to be one of those things where we're going to see it as a full team. You got the coach, you got the coaching staff, the quarterback. Everyone has been off the field. You know what I mean? So for so long that you guys got to get back into unisons. You look at college football last year, and you look at the NFL this year, and last year, missing preseason, not having a training camp, not having these summer, you know what I mean? All these type of things. You could see it in the play, all around. So a lot of these schools this year are going to have, to me, some of the worst seasons of their history. I think UConn might be one of them. They might have one of the worst seasons of their stay, because that rust also put in line with the teams that have played, that didn't skip that year, and the amount of growth that you receive as a team, as a unit in a 1-year span. So not only did you miss out on that growth, but you're also set back way over here. So I think a lot of teams are going to be in the UConn area or situation.
Yeah. And now we talk about Russ and stuff. That quarterback's going, the timing with receivers, and yes. we don't know if they had any off time together, during that year off, to keep that anticipation, keep that mentality of timing and stuff like that. So now you're looking at they got 2 good wide receivers. The freshman, there's 2 speed guys on the outside. So now, what kind of timing do you think with the speed guy on the outside and the quarterback not throwing the ball as much to them is going to have to affect today? Are they going to miss a lot of easy passes, wide open passes?
The easiest pass to throw is that out route or that street. I think we're going to see a lot of that from UConn. We're going to see less of the more, like we were talking about earlier with Nebraska, the 3-step drops, quick slants, a lot of those timing plays. I think we're going to see less of that. And when we do see them, it's going to look a little comedic, at least for the first half. You can do whatever the heck you want in practice. You can do whatever the heck you want, in scrimmages, but it's nothing like playing a team that's out to get you. And their fans in the background, and knowing the television sitting on them. So that changes everything, the speed at which they play, the intensity at which they hit you, the whole 9 yards. So I think that, the first couple smacks are going to rattle that brain a little bit and like, oh, okay, they're hurting me. You know what I mean? Yeah. The QB ain't got that red jersey on. You know what I mean? So it's going to be different. You got a year and a half of red jerseys and no touching me. So the prima donnas are not going to be prima donnas anymore. We'll
So,
see what happens.
so a lot of fumbles, sack fumbles, a lot of.
And it's not even necessarily sack fumbles, just sloppy play. We're gonna have some Mark Sanchez's. We're gonna have some, you know what I mean. We're gonna have a little Daniel Jones Kablablo.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. We're just gonna have a little bit of sloppy play for the first couple weeks. Unfortunately, there's gonna be teams that we'll sit here and talk about, like the Georgias of the past, where they started out bad and just took a tear at the end of the season.
Yeah. And then Fresno State's known for their running attack.
Yeah.
You think they're gonna just steamroll them right at the get go?
Again, their offensive line played last year. They're not too far removed from smacking somebody in the mouth, and I think that we're gonna have, especially Fresno's running game. I don't care if you're up to par and you're ready to go. Fresno's running game is something to mess with. So I think that rust is gonna wear on UConn. We might see them the first for the defense. That first quarter and a half might be decent. That third and fourth quarter, when they start that wear and tear and that rust really kicks in and they were huffing for air and that conditioning they were lacking on during the summer kicks in, we might see something different. You know what I mean? So don't be surprised to have, a record-setting day from that backfield.
Yeah, you talk about conditioning and stuff. Let's talk a little bit about that, about cramps and stuff. Beginning of football season, we know a lot of teams will get that cramp, and you got a lot of Gatorade and a lot of salt tablets on the sidelines. And I know when I was playing high school football, the heat and stuff was getting to us, and what our coach used to do was make us run after practice when we're dead tired. That's when all the cramps started coming up. And he said he always gave us a little macho speech, and he said, "This is what makes you breaks you right here. This is what makes you better than the other team." So now we're talking about cramps and stuff. Are we going to see a lot of players on the field today with a lot of issues with cramping and being tired and not executing well? Because when you get tired, you don't execute very well.
Sloppy tackling, sloppy, I mean, here's the thing, Ray. We always expect to see it the first couple weeks. But again, there's gonna be these teams out here like the UConns that didn't play,
right,
or had shortened seasons, because some of them just didn't do bowls, and some of them, shut down right around that November to December transition weeks. So again, I think that we're gonna see a lot of conditioning injuries, cramps, people falling, coming down in the game, those type of things. And what I'm hoping we don't see is the pulled hamstrings, the pulled groins, the pulled calf. Those are the things that I think the teams are going to be susceptible to. Right. I think we're going to see our normal the first week's stuff, but I'm worried about those teams that didn't play last season as a whole complete unit. How many of their players are going to have those type of, tightness injuries that they just ain't been using those muscles right, for 18 months. Right. So that's more what I'm worried about than it is the actual conditioning injuries, the cramps and the things like that. I know that's going to happen. It's going to the first 2 weeks, but I'm worried about those other ones, the pulled hamstrings, the pulled groins, things like that.
Now we're looking at another game too. University of Texas El Paso versus New Mexico State. New Mexico's got the same situation. UConn didn't play last year. The last game was like November timeframe of 2019. UTEP played 8 games last year. They were 3-5, but the UTEP has got it's got a running game and a passing game that's could be a little bit unstoppable for New Mexico State. What do you see New Mexico State playing like? Are you seeing them playing just like UConn? Come out, try to be first time hitting somebody, look sloppy, look like a bad news bear team?
I mean, again, a little bit of that. But I also think that Texas and Oklahoma this year, they have to really set a mark with that date coming to go to the SEC, knowing you're going to that field to play with that conference. You from here on out, you really need to set a tone. You really need to separate yourself from the division that you're in and say this is why we're going to the SEC to play with the big boys. So I think that they need to come out regardless of what New Mexico State does and smack them in the mouth.
Yeah, this is the University of Texas El Paso, not Texas.
Oh, I apologize.
That's all right.
But
yeah,
no,
yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about the SEC with the addition with Oklahoma and Texas. I want to get your opinions about that here in a minute. But
I'm gonna have to jump back on here in a little bit in the segment because I gotta hop off for a moment. But I wanted to hop on, let you get in with you for a second. But we'll jump back on here in a little bit, and I'll talk to you about that Texas and Oklahoma stuff.
All right, man. See you, bro.
No problem.
That was Jay, one of our guys here. He was on. You see him on Real Talk. He's one of our admin people here. He's a chief operations here on the ASAP network. He's jumping in on some of the college football. That's what you see here time to time on the sports show. You'll see people just pop in out of nowhere to talk about college football. That's a good thing about this show. We don't have really said, I'm the only analyst that's really said here on this show. Where, I'm welcoming all my analysts on the ASAP network. And sometimes if we get a viewer that wants to come on board here, I'll pop them on here too. I don't care. I go around with some of the fans, man. It's just the way we do here on the ASAP network because you don't unexpected, don't know what's happening. But guess what? On Sunday at 6 o'clock Eastern time, 5 o'clock Central, stay with the ASAP network. Our anniversary. 1 year anniversary on the network. We got some breaking news. You'll see some Real Talk. You'll see some Bring It. You'll see some Sports Corner. You'll see some ASAP Wrestling. You'll see Wrestle Point, our new show, Wrestle Point, on Wednesday nights at 10 o'clock. And then also on Saturdays at 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 9 p.m. Central Time. Wrestle Point, one of the new shows. Hey, we got Bill starting the Canadian football 3-minute warning on Wednesday nights. 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock Central Time. Give him some love. That's another new show that's coming on board here. We got some love in here in this family here on the Sports Network here, on the ASAP Sports Network. We got some breaking news. Stay tuned for the breaking news on Sunday at 6 o'clock, 5 Central. And guess what? Freddie, our CEO, man, he might get teary-eyed in that emotional thing he's got coming up and talking about it because he's going to be leading off that show. You know what he's got to say about it being here since the start up. He's the one starting this network. You got to give him some praise, some Freddie Henderson, man. We got some great people come and go off this network. And, we stick it out with them. We got our vision. We got it in line. We're getting everything set up. We got breaking news on that show. You want to stay tuned with us. I saw this comment right here. We bringing up the Suns, talking college football, blah, blah, blah. I brought the analogy in talking about Chip Kelly and the UCLA fast breaking offense. It's like a basketball that goes on a fast pace, fast break action. So, he was using the analogy of the Suns to do the thing. Good job, Freddie. Good job. Hey, look, let's talk about this one right here. We ain't talking about no barbecue this morning. Hey, Freddie, man, you got your little love in your barbecue. You had your barbecue yesterday, man. You had your ribs and stuff. You're getting them licking figging ribs. Get some chicken. Fried chicken and stuff. What's up, Michael Baxter? How you doing, man? He's one of our new analysts gonna come on to the network here. You'll see him on Full Count on Thursday nights at 7 Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So he'll be running on that show with me. I'm on Full Count too. So you'll see me, Greg, Nate, and Michael Baxter will be joining us on this Thursday, Full Count on the ASAP network. So, we're going to talk about some more college football here. We're going to get back to that Jacksonville State. We're going to finish up a little bit here for the Jacksonville State and Alabama Birmingham game. You guys, JS will play for the third time in this meeting at the Compton Bowl. The Gamecocks played Chattanooga played North Carolina A&T. They've also played in the Guardian Credit Union FCS kickoff show in 2017, 2019. Getting back to the thing, putting this on ESPN. This is going to be good for them getting on ESPN, getting national spotlight a little bit here, showing some love to a smaller school, getting that spotlight, getting that thing, getting some more recruits. You get these recruits, the local recruits, man. Watch this game here, saying, hey, well, look, we're going to play against it. We want to stay here. We want to play with this team. We want to get this team. This. That's you helping out the team. What the big schools don't want some of the players, to see them play. Hey, that's giving us another avenue to come and play college football in Division I. So, these schools are there to help these kids out. I mean, some of these kids are not going to go straight out to the SEC, going to go there. Sometimes these kids will go to University of Alabama, Birmingham, get recognized, boom, 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 transfer out. That transfer portal. How do you like that transfer portal here, in college football? It's like a free agent type deal. You go to University of Alabama, you can't get picked up. University of Alabama, Birmingham, you can't get picked up by a big college. All of a sudden, you're getting picked up. Boom. They watch this game film. Hey, he's a nice guy. Let's see if we can get him. If he wants to come over here, now we go out and recruit him. Boom, you got him. You transfer out, you get some over there. It's like sometimes these small schools are like a little stepping stone to get to the big schools, showing that, hey, I can play Division I school. I can play Division I conference, saying this is a good thing to have, UAB went out through them turmoil. If the football program is going to go away, or is it going to come back? Is it going to do this? Boom, all of a sudden they're back. Boom, got a team. Now you're playing against a rival, against in-state rivalry. Show the football players in the state of Alabama, you can come there, Alabama, Birmingham, we get you certain things. So, I mean, you got to understand things, that we're, so you got to play it off hands here. You got to play this way. You got to play, you got to be respectful. These opening games are very, 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 very in dramatic ways and in dramatic fashion here. So we got to see how this game will act on the big spotlight, how these teams will play on the big spotlight. Would it be like a lot of turnovers, stuff like that? You got to understand, college football is, you got to understand the magnitude of the game. You got to understand everybody in the nation is going to be watching you. You're going to be in the bright lights. You're going to be on the national stage. You're going to be on like this game is going to be played. It's going to be a primetime game. It's a primetime season game for them. It's a big thing for Alabama, Birmingham, and Jacksonville State to get recognized by ESPN and playing this actual game in the battle of the Alabama. So we're looking at that. We're looking at that. That game comes to you Wednesday, September 1st at 7:30. That's the only game that's playing on Wednesday. The spotlight will be on UAB and Jacksonville State. We get excited here at the Asapsportsnetwork. That's how we are. We are excited. We are passionate about our network. We're passionate about our, teams. We're passionate about our coverage. And I'm passionate about this football. This is going to be the best pregame college football show on TV, on the network, on Facebook, because you're right here on the ASAP Network. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here with us. We are here. We are live. We are kicking back. We are rolling down. And we're going to go down here to let's take a look here at the team I want to go take a look at is this Coastal Carolina, the Santa Claras from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. They had a great season last year. They played BYU. They beat BYU. They played Liberty. They lost to Liberty. So I'm going to go here. We're going to talk about the Santa Clara versus the Citadel. That is a academy, military academy, university. They play this like academy, like a Navy type style offense a little bit here. They don't get big recruits in here. The Santa Clara and stuff like that. I want to talk about this Citadel and the Santa Claras here. I want to talk about them a little bit here. in this segment here of the college football game day of radio sports show here on the ASAP network. Um, they're predicting Coastal Carolina to destroy 97.4% to 2.6% in the matchup. You're looking here at like an academy school. What are they gonna? How they gonna stop Coastal Carolina? And we got a lot of stakes here. This game is on Thursday, September 2nd. Game times at 7 p.m. The venue is at Brooks Stadium in Conway, South Carolina. This game will be on the ESPN Plus. Should have been here on the ASAP network, but we don't. We got to get the TV rights for them and stuff like that. We got to get on the TV. We got to get this thing moving. We got to get this thing going so they can come on the Facebook here and play this game, and we can do it on the ASAP network. So we got to look at here. The Bulldogs had an interesting FCS spring season. There wasn't enough consistency, and the defense couldn't hold early, but the team got better as the spring went on with the wins in two of its last three games. They're talking about the Citadel, and what's going to get, but can you stop it? The Citadel is going to run. They're going to truck you. They want to run the ball down your throat. They want to put the man in the man. They want to put it in the middle. They want to see if you're man enough on defense to stop their run. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to mix the ball down the field. They'll throw it occasionally down the field, but they're going to run. That's what these military academies do. They run the football. They want to put you up and be mano. You want to be mano with these guys. The Bulldogs are a great guy and out drives. They're close to 35 minutes per time possession. What's Coastal Carolina going to do? They got to get them 3 and out. They got to stop these time possessions. They got to stop these long drives. They got to stop the running down because so what Citadel wants to do, they want to run you and grind you out and wear you down to the fourth quarter. And that's when they will stomp. That's when they try to take advantage of you when they're mixing open down the field and stuff like that. They want to draw you to sleep. Basically, they got the same mentality as the Naval Academy or the Air Force Academy or the Army. They want to drag you down. They want to make you sleep. They want you to make a mistake on defense. That counteracts their offense. Their offense is a big run play offense. They want to get you grinding out. They want the time possession. They want to wear you down that fourth quarter. And if you're watching a lot of Naval games, Naval Academy games, that's what they do. They ground you out with them options, the little misdirection options, the little pitch things. So what can you say about it? What can you what can you say about the Santa Clara's defense? Can they really stop a running team? BYU with Zach Wilson last year was kind of like a running team, but Zach Wilson also could throw the ball a little bit, throw the ball too. So they matched up pretty well against BYU. They stimulated BYU. BYU gave them a game, but it's kind of the Santa Clara's kind of shut them down towards the end. So the question is, the Santa Clara's, they don't know when to give up. They don't know when to they don't know when to. They don't know when to give up and don't know when they battle. But this is going to be a different task for them. They got to have a team that's going to continue to run the ball because they're not going to lose. They're not going to stop their running game. They're not going to change their offense because they're playing Coastal Carolina and the Santa Clara's. Can their defense stop? What's going to happen? Coastal Carolina will be more than happy to show the world what a preseason top 25 team is supposed to do against an overmatched FCS. Yes, it's going to be overmatched. Santa Clara's going to overmatch them. You got a deeper team. They got a talent. But the Citadel offense will always throw a bit of a curveball, but the Santa Clara's have to experience up front to handle it. That's what they think. Because when you play an academy, you're not really prepared to see that option or to see that running attack because you cannot simulate their skill. You cannot simulate their plays because you're not an option team. If you don't know the option concept, you cannot really tell you what an option team is all about. I mean, you could scout them, you could look at their plays, but you kind of pick up their tendencies, and it's kind of hard sometimes to pick up the options of tendency because they do a lot of holding it into the fullback belly, pulling it out, throwing the option outside. They read the defensive end. The defensive end, if they crash too far in, they're gonna just pop that outside of you. Who are you gonna take? You got your defensive end's got a lot of responsibility when you play an option team. They got to know how to fake the quarterback, make the quarterback pitch the ball, knowing that you're going to go to the running back and not to the quarterback. The defensive end's got to play that option. They got to read the option. They got to play it. They got to play a thing. How are you going to defend the option? Are you going to put one guy on the quarterback and then have one guy on the running back? A little spy. If you do that, boom, that goes the fullback up the belly. That's the thing about the Santa Claras and stuff. Can they reprimand their flow of the team they're playing? Can they reprimand the option? Can they pick some of the tendencies they see on tape? What they do? That's a perception of the option team. When you run the option, the defensive end's got to play a lot. Your linebackers got to flow. Your linebackers got to jaw jack the freaking out of the fullback. You got to tackle everybody that comes out of that backfield because you don't know who's got the ball sometimes. You don't know if the fullback's got the ball or he pulled it out of the fullback and ran the option. Or he fakes the pitch. You got to be disciplined. And that's the thing about option team. When you play an option team, you have to be disciplined. If you're not disciplined enough, they can counteract your pressure and pitch it right outside, and boom, he's got a big gain on the outside. Or you can put it in. If you try to take the outside away from it, boom, put it up. You got a big gain up the middle. So, and then you got to watch out for the option reverse too. I mean, this team is good at it. This team is great at it because what they do is they run an option and then they'll send the guy right down the middle of, and you pitch the ball. You don't know if that guy took the ball and ran the other way, or if the guy faked it and then the ball got to the running back and he's going this way. So you got to watch out for the comebacks. You got to watch out for the counter action, the counter options. You got to watch out how the quarterback flows this way and immediately it goes back this way, and then he's got an option on this side. So your pursuits on the back end's got to pursue a certain way, and this is a totally different team when you play these academies. And can the Citadel rectify what they did last year and prove their point that they can do it this year? And it's the first game of the season too. So you had a lot of time to practice against this an option-based team. You got a lot of times to set it up for it, but sometimes a lot of times it don't help. Look at the time when Carolina had a lot of time. They took I'll give you an example when they played Georgia Tech University, when they had Paul Johnson as Georgia Tech's head coach. Carolina always sometimes the ACC was scheduled and then they had a bye, so they had a whole bye. And then one time we played him, I think one year we played him at the beginning of the season. So we had a whole spring training and stopped the option, and they come out and blast us, because we're not disciplined. They weren't disciplined enough. And that's what I'm scared about Coastal Carolina. Are they disciplined enough to read these options? Or if the options get some excess and Citadel gets confidence in this game, a lot of teams with confidence knowing that, hey, we're pushing these guys around. Let's keep pushing them around. And they're not going to back away from their offensive game plan. That's the one thing about Citadel and about these things. They do not back away from their game plan. They think that game plan will work against everybody else. So they're not backing away from that game plan. So when you look at the Santa Claras, they have to play the option to the best. They have to play the gaps. They have to hit everybody that comes out of the backfield. I don't care if the quarterback don't have the ball. I don't care if the running back don't have the ball. You're going to hit everybody that comes out of that backfield because you can. Because if the quarterback's running, he's a running quarterback. You can hit him. The running back, you don't know if he's got the ball. Hit him. The fullback that comes out, hit him. Everything that comes out of that backfield, you got to hit, because with an option team, if you have a good option team, they can eye candy. It's a lot of things for this options is the eye candy. You got to watch the eye candy because the handoff, the fake always starts with the fullback. They fake it to the fullback because guess what they're doing? They're reading the defensive end. If the defensive end falls to them, boom, they pull it out. They run it out. So now you got them out with a corner. So what the corner going to do? If you don't have a linebacker that's flowing over there, What your corner gonna do? He don't know how to play the option. I mean, is he gonna jump the running back? If he jumps the running back, the quarterback's gonna boom gone. And if you don't have a linebacker there to take that quarterback, if you don't have somebody to take the quarterback in the pitch, man, you're done. Then you're done. Because what you gonna do? You're on an island. You're out there on an island, and you about to get option off of. Either the quarterback is gonna fake, and you're gonna go for the running back, and he's gonna take off, and he's gonna have about 15, 16, 17 yards down the field before the pursuit can get over on the backside. So when you play an option team, and I know for experience because I played on an option team in high school, the concept for an option is the dive guy is the first read. If you take the defensive and he's reading and the quarterback's reading the whole time is the defensive end. He doesn't care if you leave somebody in the middle open and stuff like that. He's looking at that defensive end. He wants to see what that defensive end does. As the defensive end comes straight down for the quarterback, pitch round the outside. And if you ain't got nobody there to take the pitch guy, he's gone. He's about 10, 15 yards down the field before you can get the pursuit over to catch him. So, I mean, you got to understand how the Santa Clara's got to play this. You got to hit every single body out of it. So I mean, you got to understand how everything. So, I mean, you got to understand that the option concept, and I mean, these option concepts are not very hard to understand, but you got to know the tendencies. You got to know what they're looking for. And when you look for it, you're always looking at your defensive ends on both sides, because at first, what you got to really think about is, hey, if the people up in the box catch that defensive on the backside sharply cutting back, guess what's going to happen? Boom, reverse. He's back on his side. He's already shot down inside. So now who you got on the backside on the triple option reverse? So when the quarterback comes out, pivots, boom, takes a sharp curve and goes back the other way. And boom, he's got a running back already set up on the inside, because basically they have a guy on both sides, you know. So hey, we're gonna go counter option. Let's flow this way. We flow this way, and I'm gonna immediately cut back this way. Boom, your defensive end's gone because he shot down and trying to take the backside away. So I mean, this is gonna be an interesting concept for the Santa Claras playing an option team. I like to see what this game is going to look like, and if the Santa Claras are really up for it, and if they really got a team that can actually stop it. So I mean, these people down in Conway, South Carolina, out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, this is the battle of the South Carolinians. You know, Citadel's in South Carolina, so but they're like an academy school. They're known for their running and not so much for their passing. And they like to run these counter options plays and these options plays. So if they run the option to a T, and if they can't get the Santa Claras to do it, they can really dominate the clock of possessions. That means it keeps the high flying Santa Clara's offense off the field. It keeps their defense on the field longer. It wears them down by the time the fourth quarter, because this is the first game of the season. And this could be a Citadel upset. I mean, do I see it likely? No. I see Chandeliers playing pretty well and playing their game. But I'm just letting you know, an option team is the most dangerous team in football, because they have the element of time possession. They have an element of making you miss your reads. They have an element of, if you can't stop us, we're going to continue to run it. And they got an element of, they're not scared to run it on any team. That's the mentality of these institutions that runs these options. And people laugh because, you know, Georgia Tech ran it. Georgia Tech ran it to a T too, with Paul Johnson in a Navy style option, and it was very successful. It was very successful at that level. So I mean, you know, don't play back on these options, because the Navy been running options for a long time, and they pulled some big upsets. They pulled some upsets like against Notre Dame. I mean, you know, they played Michigan very tightly. So I mean, these options are not easy to prepare for. And another thing too on the option is you got to worry about cut blocks. People don't, linemen worry about their knees and stuff like that on the cut blocks. That's what the option wants you to do. They want to get you on the ground quick. So they do a lot of cut blocks. And, per se, is a dangerous block? Yes, it is very dangerous because sometimes we're taught to hit the thighs on a cut block. And on an option team, they're trying to take your thighs out. But sometimes they go too low and they take at your knee it's not by design. But I mean, if you're talking about somebody going really low to you and you're taught to hit the thighs, well, right below your thighs is coming your knees. And if you take that knee shot right at them, you can't help it. Sometimes the lineman sees you going to cut block, they're going to jump. And when they jump, guess what? Your knees are coming to you as you're diving down to trying to cut block them, and you're hitting them. And you're not meaning to because you're not taught that way. You're taught to hit the thighs. You're taught to cut that right at the thighs and cut them off because you hit them right at the thighs. It's a meaty part of the leg. You're not really hurting them, but you're taking them off the ground. But if you got linemen jumping over top of you, and when you're diving at the same time and he's trying to jump over top of you can't help not hitting the knees or hitting the lower extremities, and that really hurts when you hit the shin with your shoulder pads, and then you're hitting the shoulder pads in your knee, but you're not really mean to because you're really trying to cut them off, but they're trying to jump over you, trying to get blocked, trying to hit the person coming out of the backfield. I mean, two-way street here. When you play these options, you got to worry about the cut blocks, you got to worry about the misdirections, you got to worry about you're not missing your assignments because when you run the option, you got to run assignment football. It's assignment football when you run the option because one mistake from the defensive end, he reads it wrong, boom, you got a big gain to the outside. If he reads it right and the quarterback reads it right and hits it to the fullback and your linebackers are flowing over here and they come back off your back end of your center, boom, that's 5, 15, 16 yards down the field and down the middle. So this is the thing about the Citadel. The Citadel runs not really a similar, but a effective option like the Naval Academy, like the Army does. They're gonna stick to a run. This is their mentality of thinking. We can run on you. First down, we can run on you. Second down, we can run on you. Third down, we can run on you. Fourth down. And you got to watch that too, because these teams will get, if they get like 2-3 yards on first down, boom, or they get a yard on first down, boom, they get 2 yards on second down. So you're looking at about 3rd and 7, 3rd and long. You figure they're going to be passing. All of a sudden, boom, they're right up the middle, 15 yards, first down. Or they run it, 2 yards, it gives you 2nd and 8. They run it 3 yards, it gives you 3rd and 5. Boom, they run it 2, it gives you 4th and 2. Guess what they're going to do? They're going to line right back up, and they're going to try to get the 2 yards because they think they can get those 2 yards on you. So you're going to be on the field, not really looking for a punter on fourth down. They might punt if it's like 3rd and 10 or something like that. They might. But if it's 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, or 3rd and 7, and they get a nice chunk on that 3rd down play, and then it comes up to be 4th and 4, 4th and 3, they're going to line them back up on, and they're going to challenge you. And you got to be ready to play all 4 downs against an option team. That's the mentality, and that's the thing you got to really, really think about here when you play an option team. So, the Coastal Carolina is going to have a really, had a long time prepared for this game because they knew this game was the first game of the season. So I would have been looking at about 20, 25 tapes of Citadel games. Boom. But you really can't tell it that because you got to set up for next week. But you got to set that option up. So I'm looking at all the tendencies of Citadel because these colleges get every game. You got every game tape of all Citadel games. So I would have sit down and charted every play they did, how they ran the play, what defense the other team's defense were in, it was working against them. And that's what I would try to set my defense up for, is what defense was working against them. So that's what you got to understand about the option, and that's what you got to understand about college football when you play these academies, because they're looking to chop block you Linemen don't like chop blocks because they're worried about their knees. Understandable. But these teams are taught to cut you at the thighs. But when you jump over, you're hitting the knees, you're hitting the chin, and then that stuff really hurts. It really does hurt. And now you're getting your linemen to thinking about it. So if you get your linemen to think about it, they're not reacting fast enough because they're thinking about their knees getting taken out, or they thinking about that chop block, the cut blocks. So they're really thinking about that. And I mean, sometimes teams are really good at it. They get away with the cut blocks, the chop blocks too. It's really dangerous to do it, but sometimes the center don't think about what he's doing, and he's over there, cutting down another person while he's engaged with the guard. And if they're good at it, the referee's not going to see it because there's a real pile inside. So you got to understand the situation that the Chanticleer is going to be here. And that's why I really wanted to touch bases on this game here a little bit more on this thing, is due to the fact that a lot of people don't understand the principle of option football. They just watch it and they're like, oh, man, these guys are really cutting these guys down. But, I like to bring the aspect of the back of the game into it because I've seen the option. I ran the option in high school. I knew the percentage of the option. I know what we were taught how to block the option on these cut blocks. The cut blocks, you're not really taking the knee out. You're aiming for the thighs, but when the guys jump up and over and trying to dive and hit the thing, it seems like you're taking the knees out. And, that's the perception of it. Another thing, too, with the option is your defensive end's he's got to play the football. He's got to know how to play the football. He's got to know how to put himself in position, not go for the quarterback, a little quick fake like that and hit the running back without the ball, and the quarterback takes off about 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 yards down the field before your linebacker realizes the quarterback still got the ball. So to me, when I tell people, when they ask me about, some of the coaches I'm friends with, they ask me how do you stop the option? I tell them, I said, you got to have your defensive end discipline. You got to have your other defensive end not overreacting, coming down the line to try to shut off the cutbacks. You got to have your linebackers flowing, not really charging the line. You got to have them flowing. So if the linebackers don't charge the line like they normally do, when you see a running play, you diagnose, you charge that line. Well, when you run an option team, you got a linebackers has got to flow with the side they're running the ball, and your back linebackers your outside linebacker and your inside linebackers got to communicate, and they better communicate good, because that outside linebacker on the backside needs to be sure the backside is covered. If it gets past the defensive end, he's there to make the tackle. So if they're both flowing to one way, then you're going to do it. So what I normally tell them is, I tell the back linebacker, you don't flow as much to the other side when the plays go away from you. You come in a little bit and you reestablish yourself outside the defensive end. You tell your back defensive end, you flow, but don't flow quickly. You flow, you wait and see if the quarterback's going to make that cutback or to make the option reverse back the other direction. And if it does, you're there to make the hit, and you're there, and the flow linebacker on the backside is there to take out the running back. Boom, that is not a big gain. You stopped them. So, I mean, you got to understand discipline, but then you got to understand you're in live action, you're real live football. You're on the other team who perfection this, who runs this every day, that has now run into your defense that does not see this every day. So, I mean, this is going to be a good game for Coastal Carolina. I think it's going to be I don't know if it's going to be a blowout. One of two things is going to happen with option teams. They're going to get a blowout. Is they can't run the ball. They get stopped on third down, on fourth down. They need short fields for the other team. Or if they commit turnovers, that's what hurts the option. The biggest victory for option is big gains on first down, big gains on second down. That leads to shorter gains on third down. Or if you get stopped on first down, get a big gain on second down, and you get a minimal game on third down, and you're looking at 4th and 2, and then you get to push on fourth down, your defense is out there for another full series for 3 downs, and keeps on going. So if Citadel gets the time possession of the game, and the Chandeliers does not get the thing, it's going to be good for the Citadel. But if Chandeliers can stop the Citadel on short and stop and get them off the field on 3 and out, that is a win for the Chandeliers and Coastal Carolina, and for them to have the victory of this game and possibly blowing them out. I mean, if you got to me, if Coastal Carolina can get up 2 to 3 scores, boom, a running team is going to be hard for a running team to catch that because they're not used to passing. And now they got to come out and pass, and that's what leads to most of the blowouts for these option teams because they don't have the personnel, and the other teams have jumped on them quickly. And that's what Coastal Carolina's got to do. They got to jump on quickly, limit their possessions, and don't let the Citadel dictate possession of the game. And that's when you have the beat. So we got like 2 minutes, and we have been on here for 2 hours and 41 minutes and 24 seconds. And right now, we've been talking about the Citadel. We talked about Jackson UAB on Monday and Tuesday. Another interesting game out there, is all the days game is going to be good because we're getting football back. I mean, you might not be fans of these teams that are playing today: Nebraska, Illinois, UConn against Fresno State, Hawaii against UCLA, UTEP against New Mexico State, Southern Utah against San Jose State. You might not be fans of them, but if you're a fan of college football, you're going to be watching these games. You're going to be getting excited. You got your beer in the refrigerator. You got your meats on the grill. You got your people out there tailgating, people putting their college game day face on, for these teams. Getting out there being crazy, getting that fan base, stirring up the pot, helping your home team win, home cooking and stuff like that. So you got a lot of stuff that's going. You got a lot of stuff that's you're ready for. You're getting all your stuff getting set up for. So to me, I think this is going to be a great game, great start of college football. This is week 1, day 1. Wednesday night, you got one game. Thursday night, you got bukus of games. I mean, you'll see number 4 Ohio State. You'll see number 24 Utah. You'll see number 22 Coastal Carolina. A team I just talked about, Coastal Carolina against Citadel. You'll see Ohio State versus Minnesota. Big Ten starting off right off the action. You'll see North Carolina State versus South Florida. So we'll see how South Florida can hold up to North Carolina State in Carlin-Fielding Stadium. I've been in Carlin-Fielding Stadium a lot. I've been there with my sister a couple games against North Carolina. I've been there when they had, Russell Wilson that played North Carolina State. I was there when Phillip Rivers played. I seen them live at Carter-Fielding Stadium and at Kenan Memorial Stadium. We're going to see how Tennessee can do with Bowling Green. Hey, number 25 Arizona State's got Southern Utah. How about Ball State versus Western Illinois? We're not, you might not be fans of those. Buffalo versus Wagner. And then you step on here. This is a game, I know I'm a big Tar Heel fan. Number 10, North Carolina. I want to see how they play against Virginia Tech. First game of the season. Sandman will be blasting in Layton Stadium. Carolina has a hard time playing in Layton Stadium. That's the game I want to see. If Carolina's going to be the team they think they are, they need to put the smack down on Virginia Tech. And then you got Charlotte and Duke. Understand Duke is not a good football, a good powerhouse football team, but, you still got some interesting Son and Klutchka, who coached the Mannies, Eli Manning at Ole Miss, and he's got his quarterback stuff and like that. I'd like to see what Charlotte does against Duke. Will Charlotte come out with a victory? That's going to be on CBS. This is on CBS Sports Network. It should be right here on the ASAP network. But right now, contracts dictate who could be on what and stuff. But we should get some of these football games on ASAP so we can call some of these games. Old Dominion, out of Norfolk, out of Norfolk, Virginia, off of Hampton Roads Boulevard. That's where they located at. They got to go up to play up in Winston-Salem to play Wake Forest. Wake Forest used to be in Wake Forest, North Carolina, outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. But they wouldn't build them a big school, so they went up to Winston-Salem. Got a big college up there now, So that's where Wake Forest is at in Winston-Salem. You know why they call it Wake Forest? Because it was in Wake County. Wake County was known as Wake Forest. And they have this, and you go by on Route 1, you'll still see the colleges. It's like a school, like a high school now. But that college used to be looked like a high school. It had a high school stadium, blah, blah, blah. So they wouldn't build them a new university, a whole new university. So they moved the whole university up to Winston-Salem, up in North Carolina, up in the foothills, and they got a nice facility there. BB&T Stadium up in Winston-Salem. So that's where that game will be played. How about series matchup? We want to see what number 2 Oklahoma's got. We want to see, the quarterback for Oklahoma is he produced the way he's a Heisman Trophy candidate. We want to see what Tulane does. Big game I really want to see on Saturday is the number 19 Penn State versus number 12 Wisconsin. You got the battles of the top 25. That's a good early matchup. Big Ten starting early. ACC, some of the ACC teams starting early in the ACC. Well, just getting conference right off, man, getting right off and getting smacked and get the lead. That's the thing. That's the thing all about college football. You need to get out there and kick some butt. So, how about Nebraska and Fordham? Nebraska, we talk about that. Scott Frost is on the hot seat. Can Nebraska turn around? Can Nebraska make a bowl game? Can Scott Frost get back to the coach that he was at when he was at UCF? That's going to be a good question. How is Nebraska going to handle that? How about number 1? Playing number 14, Miami. We know the stigma. Alabama is always the favorite to win the championship. Miami's was there in the 80s, not there in the 90s. John King is back, the quarterback that transferred out of Houston. That played great for Miami last year. He's back for his senior year. Totally a great quarterback. Can throw the ball, run the ball. He's a dynamic dual thing. But can Miami's defense handle the offense of Alabama? That's going to be the question. And we got a lot of questions about Alabama at quarterback. How good is that quarterback going to be? I mean, Mac Jones has now gone on. Stepped in and got him to won the championship last year. And now he's in New England. How will the quarterback for Alabama be? We know they are juggernauts on offense. We know they can replace people, but that quarterback's unproven. He's not been challenged. Mac Jones played all the snaps last year. So, I mean, really, he didn't have no really game experience unless he's doing some mock-up duty. So, that's going to be one question about Alabama. Miami don't have that question at quarterback. We know what Sean King can do. We know what Miami's receivers can do. But they still got some step. They lost some big-time defensive players on their side of Miami. So their defense is going to be kind of raw. So we need to see how they go. And it's the first game of the season, too. Both teams going to probably be a sloppy game. We know all about me and Jay was just talking about how sloppy play is a big part of the first 2 weeks of college football. And that's what it is. But is Miami a contender or a pretender? And that's what it's going to be. How they match up against Alabama. And this is going to be a show if they're going to be up there in that same realm of talent all season long. How about Cincinnati, number 8? Cincinnati playing Miami, Ohio. Cincinnati had a good season last year. They kind of pulled it up to number 8 this year. Are they going to have a great season? How about number 17, Indiana, and number 18, Iowa? Number 17, Indiana, come out of nowhere last year. They had a good season until the quarterback got injured, and they had some injuries at the late of the season. So what is Indiana going to do? Is that season last year a fluke? Are they going to keep going? Are they going to keep rolling? How about Iowa? How about Iowa's tradition? Waving to the children in the hospital. I like that. I like that so much. It's showing you're getting the kids that can't come out and watch the game involved in the game. They get to oversee the game over the stadium. I like the way they did that. I like the tradition. I like them in the fourth quarter stand up and wave at the kids. That's a great tradition. Can Iowa's running game and Indiana's high-power offense, who's going to stop each other? That's going to be a high-scoring game. So, I mean, I think Iowa's going to pull it out because Iowa's tough to beat at home. How about Navy and Marshall? That's going to be intriguing. Naval Academy running. We know what Navy loves to run the option. We know that, Marshall's got that offensive, balance. So who's going to win that game? Is Navy going to come back? Navy had a down year last year. Can Navy come back this year and be the Navy of old? So there's a lot of questions to ask them in that game. How about the robbery? How about this robbery? The Western West Virginia versus Maryland. We know there are bad bloods between the both schools. We've seen it. We heard it. We know it. Fans getting stabbed after games up in West Virginia and Maryland. We know that they don't like each other. It's been like that. It's been there. It's their forte all the way through when I was a kid. There's always something in the news about this West Virginia and Maryland game. It's not about the football. It's about the fans getting the fights. It's about the fans stabbing each other. It just reminds me of the North Carolina back in the 80s and North Carolina State and East Carolina fans getting stabbed in the parking lot in Cardinal Stadium at the State Fairgrounds in North Carolina. That's the same situation. They hate each other. They just don't like each other. And so then the fans are going to take it out on each other. We want to see football. We want to see football. We don't want to hear about what happened in the fans in the stands and stuff like that. We want to see the game on the field. We want to see the fans be respectful and have good sportsmanship, shake their hands and move on, But this college football, baby. And that's where we getting all hyped. I'm all hyped. I'm ready to go. I can't even play. I'm 49 years old now, man. I go out there and I'm break every bone in my body right now. But I'm so pumped I can go out there and play right now. I think it's that adrenaline is kicking in, baby. I might go pull some steaks out right now and put them on the thing, put some shrimp on the bobby, and have them down now cooking. That sounds pretty good right now. I'm making myself hungry. So hey, let's get around here. We got 8 minutes and we got a little bit under 8 minutes to go here left on the show here before we get ready to turn it away. And then we get ready for some live football action at 1 o'clock. I hope you like the pregame show. Put me in the likes here. If you like the game show, show me some love. Hey guys, just think about it. If you're on Facebook, you like us on Facebook, go to our YouTube channel and like us there too. Subscribe. We need more subscribers on the YouTube. So your 2,000 some odd fans on Facebook, get up and go subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. Hey, we live on our website. We live on Twitch. Hey man, we're live everywhere. Hey, just come and find the ASAP Network. And just like I said, stay tuned tonight at 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Wrestle Point, our new show that showed up on Wednesday. They're coming live on Saturday at 10 o'clock. Is that, at 10 o'clock tonight Eastern Time, 9 Central, 7 Pacific. Hey, I got all the time zones just about. I got the 3 main standard ones. But anyway, they'll be live on our Facebook. They'll be live on our YouTube. They'll be live on our website. Hell, they're live on Twitch. Hey, man, Twitch ain't just for gamers. It's us sports people too. So, hey, look, if you like us on Facebook, go subscribe to us on YouTube. Go to our Twitch and like us there. Go to our website. Eventually we'll have comment sections on our website where you can leave comments and see if you like the website. Put us out there, man. Stay tuned tomorrow at 10, I think it's 10 a.m. Eastern, 11 Central, 9 Central, and 7 Pacific for the touchdown crew who's getting you ready for the live NFL on the ASAP Network. Hey, Sunday. We have a 1-year anniversary show. We have some breaking news that you don't want to miss about the ASAP Network. You'll see shows like Real Talk people. You'll see the people from Real Talk. You'll see the people from Bring It. You'll see the people from Sports Corner. You'll see the people from Wrestle Point. You'll see people from ASAP Wrestle Now. You'll see people from the Garage Talk, Sports Talk. You'll see people from you'll hear from the new show, the 3-Minute Warning, the Canadian Football League on Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, 5 Pacific. Jordan Bill, man. Bill's starting that's a new show starting up this coming up week, this Wednesdays. Come on, man. Show some love. Show some love for all our network shows. Because ASAP is going to be here. We are here to stay. We are here to compete. Yeah, we are here to compete against ESPN. We're here to compete against Fox. We're here against CBS. We're here to get all the major because they want to keep the little man down. They can't keep us down. That's why we come here. That's why we love this ASAP Sports Network. We love the passion. We couldn't get hired by ESPN and stuff. We start our own network, and we're going to get better than them, and they're going to be wishing they did put us on their network. But anyway, stay tuned. Stay tuned. We got 5 minutes and a little bit of seconds here coming down. Hey, why don't you hit me up on this on the comment section if you're on Facebook, comment section on YouTube. Hey, hit me up. What is your best tailgating food that you fix on tailgating on Saturday for college? Hey, send pictures. Hey, send pictures to the ASAP network. Send pictures, man. Put them on our Facebook page. Put your college football picture on the Facebook page if you dress up, if you wear your face paint, if you put your mask on, if you put your whatever you dress up as it and you're for your college. Come on, we want to see pictures so we can share them on this show. You know, we're gonna have a segment called Fan Dress Up War Paint Time. I want to see the best, and I'll pull the best ones and I'll put them on this show live. You know, you tailgate pictures. Hey, when you go to football games and you tailgate, hey, pop it up here. Put it on our Facebook page. Send a short video of it. Tell us about your team. Tell us why you like your team. You know, we want to hear all this. We want some fan interaction on this sports talk show, on this pregame show. You know, ESPN don't want to talk to the fans. They just hear them in the background. We want to talk to the fans. We want to have the fans on our show sometimes. You know, if you dare to come on here, we got a little few standards to go through. Once you get approved, put you on the show, man. All you got to do is be respectful. That's all. No profanity, no disrespecting teams, no. Damn, we want to hear your honest opinion about your team. We want to know what you do, how you celebrate your team victory. We want to know how you. Yeah, I tell you how I celebrate my team victory. I'll run around the neighborhood and start yelling, "Hey, Tar Heels won, baby!" I'm not even in the state of North Carolina, and they just look at me like I'm crazy because everybody here is like Seminoles. I live in Jacksonville, Florida. Everybody's Seminole fans, Bulldog fans, or Gator fans. You know, I'm sitting here in the state of Florida running around like my head cut off. Hey, when Carolina won the 2017 national championship, I ran right outside and let everybody know that. Everybody's like, "Hey, man, you know you're in the state of Florida." I said, "I don't care." So that's how I celebrate my teams. I celebrate my team's victory, football victories, running around the block, yelling. And sometimes my wife gets on me because I yell at the TV during the game and stuff like that. She's like, you need to calm down. You know they can't hear you. Yeah, but so, you know, that's how I do my team. But it's kind of hard to watch games sometimes because my mom always called me at the end of the games. And my mom's passed away. So, you know, I'm still trying to get over that and stuff like that. So, you know, it's a struggle day by day. And, you know, I got to calm myself down because I'm going to get high blood pressure and put myself in the hospital. We got less than 2 minutes to go. We got a minute to go here on the show. So let's tune it up one more time here. Today's matchups is Nebraska, Illinois. That's coming on at 1:20. That'll be on your Fox. UConn at Fresno State. That's on CBS Sports Network at 2 p.m. Hawaii and UCLA at 3:30 on ESPN. UTEP, New Mexico. That's party on the ESPN Watch app. Southern Utah versus San Jose State. That's at 10 p.m. That's also on the CBS Sports Network. So if you got cable, you get your CBS Sports Network, you get on there. But I wish those games were playing here on the ASAP because the ASAP network is going to be hot. One day we will have some college football on our network. You know, that's our big goal. Our big goal is get some college football, get some pros, get some NBA, get some college basketball. We want MEA. We want all the sports on the freaking All Sports All Place Network. That's what it is. I'm Ray Cruz. See you later. Have a good day. Enjoy your first week of college football. Peace.